I actually did my predictions on Twitter this morning for all the sets, and I said 4-2 Daniel, actually. So I'm the opposite of you, but
Ooh,
still on the 4-2 realm.
all right.
And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Hera trying to maintain some friendships. I see.
Yeah, I posted in public, man. I didn't want to demoralize the guy, you know?
Dude, I listen. I'm talking to Daniel all the time behind the scenes, but I'm at a point now. Like I was like close friends with most of the high level players before the tournaments get really huge, right? So like, I guess I'm more comfortable saying if I think someone who might also be my friend could lose. But ACCM
Yeah,
in the
that's
red.
your job as the caster, of course.
That's
Yeah, sorry,
true.
go on.
Yeah. But it's a fun Civ matchup here. Franks versus Lithuanians, and I think it might be the first time we've seen this on Arabia at the start of a series, and
Yep.
not the first time we've seen players very close together, Hera.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting here is like I swear we've been seeing a lot of archer civs on Arabia. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
Mayans super popular Chinese, but usually they get banned out. But now two, cavalry based civilization, and they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I don't know who would you favor here in terms of civs?
I think this turns into a relic war, honestly, because Lithuanians, if they get the relics, have great paladins. Both civilizations have halberdier. There are economy bonuses that either can work with. The Lithuanians, they start with more food, and then Franks have the berry bonus and the farm bonus. I feel like if I were to describe this Civ matchup to you, Hera, I would say that Lithuanians have that more like punch power because they can be slightly faster to feudal and they can get the relics for the extra attack, and then Franks are more solid overall.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with that, except in the late game where Lithuanians start to kind of pack more of a punch. They do get Bracer. The faster moving Halbs does come into play as well.
Yep.
And then they also have, wait for it, Tinani, Hussar. They have Hussar in the late game, and that's something that Franks don't get the luxury of. In fact, the light cab are actually weaker than the generic ones. So we'll keep an eye on it, but of course now we're just speculating, getting ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I agree with you that it's quite evenly matched. We'll see how they decide to play it. 3 on wood for Daniel though, looking like a Scout Rush maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was King of the Desert. I guess it would be King of the Desert, where we saw a lot of Arabia and then
Mhm.
Franks versus Lithuanians, and this would be about knights, monks, and then if and when players might switch into the pikemen. So it's almost nice to have two civilizations that are similar. Occasionally you see it with archers, but I feel like with knights, it can almost be more exciting in some ways. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
But forward berries
yeah.
for ACCM could be a real bother for him. And I think Daniel, while long term, he might not like his gold in other areas, at least can wall in real nice and tight for a scout build.
Yeah, and I'm actually noticing ACM starting to wall earlier. By the way, I like that you mentioned that the King of the Desert. We saw a little bit more of these cavalry civs. Franks took a huge nerf since then. T90. They lost Treadmill Crane. I don't know if it's the same civ anymore. You know what I mean?
Listen,
So
you say that sarcastically, and the amount of people, I mean, there's not many, but the amount of deathmatch players who blew up at that. Like, if they're hearing you right
the
now, you
entire
just lost a
deathmatch
fan.
community.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because like, you think you still play Age of Empires in 2021? You've got to be dedicated. If you still play Deathmatch, Age of Empires in 2021, you're super dedicated because there's not as many out there. And I remember Jidba was going off on the forums about that. So
Yeah, well, it affected that style quite
yeah.
quite heavily, but yeah. Also, the small nerf on the berries does hurt Franks a little bit, but again, not a huge deal.
Hmm.
More just ACCM scouts getting a little hit there.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, not sure how these guys will want to open though.
Do you find the Palisade walling weird here? Like, I mean, it's not a lot, but do you find a little bit of? Oh, Daniel, you're kidding me. No,
No,
that was so bad. And it's just he probably was feeling great because he'd weakened the enemy scout, and then that happens.
and he that was so avoidable because he did see ACCM. He saw the berries, the houses earlier. He knew he was around that area.
Hmm.
That's very unfortunate. That's maybe some tournament like nerves there
Yeah.
actually, and ACCM did lose some HP there himself, but losing your scout that takes away a lot of insights and information. And Daniel's going to gold. He wants to play men at arms here by the looks of things, but without the scout, that's not that strong. That's
Yeah.
not as strong.
Yeah, and even if like the big thing with the scout is you can block bills, or in particular when someone tries to wall out, you could just block the wall foundation, right? Speaking of walls, that was funny. All right, that was close, but yeah, ACCM could see this, and that's another big thing, right? It's also maybe not playing towards the strength of Lithuanians long term, but I do know, having played with Daniel in a tournament setting, He loves to be annoying in early stages, and so like going man-at-arms into fast fletching, he's almost like a mini Leary, so to speak, with that. It does suit him.
Yeah, he does love his men at arms and his early archer aggression. I do agree with that. I just have to question in this matchup in particular, like the problem I see with going for the men at arms with Lithuanians is that you don't have the scouts left over from that scout war to find all the relics, and that's kind of a big part of their middle game is securing those relics. So if for some reason he doesn't know where the relics are in the mid game, we'll come back to this decision to not open Scout Rush with Lithuanians, which is a bit more natural.
Yep.
And maybe the reason he didn't want to do that is because Franks do generally get a better Scout Rush off with the extra HP.
It's so satisfying to see a player. Now, obviously, ACCM has weakened Scout here, but it's so satisfying to see a player tracking army properly. It's just so good. And believe it or not, amongst the top 20, it doesn't always happen, and players still get surprised by things. And you've got to bring that level of consistency there. And so he knew this was going to come in. I don't know why he added a spearman, to be honest, but
Yeah, that's a bit questionable.
yeah. But anyways, he's gonna make some scouts, and he hasn't even had to full wall his resources because he knows exactly where that army is. And where is Daniel going right now?
Yeah, and Daniel commits to the men at arms tech. So oftentimes you'll see players not commit to men at arms if they feel like there's no damage to be done. But Daniel commits to men at arm tech, and he's gonna go around. So he's really trying to get some damage in. But ACCM like beautifully tracking the army and decides he wants to counterattack here. Love that decision.
Yeah, this is, and again, I'm just questioning. He could still run around here. I think Daniel might be a bit nervous, just attacking the stable right now. And maybe ACCM is assuming Daniel's walled, actually. So maybe we don't love this as much now. And Daniel, at the end of the day, Hera, I guess he's going to be walled up, or should be close to it if the scouts arrive.
Yeah, it ends up being a fine opening. You know, he's not going to get the damage or like the harassment that you want to get with men at arms, but at the same time, he's not taking damage himself. So he'll trade with the scouts potentially, and then he'll secure his base. And that's the whole idea for the early rushes. It's really just to buy yourself time more than anything.
Yeah, I think that considering you lost the scout and you weren't able to find any Vil kills or any super crazy harassment, it's actually not bad. As long as the walls get down on the backside and there's no holes, then it's actually looking like you could maybe make another spearman and come forward with 2 archers, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, because ACCM is not fully walled, and maybe even a little slow at that. We are seeing the range come down from ACCM though. He's looking to get the skirmisher transition behind it. Oh, but Daniel's not fully walled at the bottom. That could be problematic. There's 4 scouts coming. These are Frank scouts at that.
Oh god, yeah, this doesn't seem doable here, and maybe brings us back to like you've got to be aggressive, because if you're not aggressive, then the enemy can easily counterattack you. And now there's 2 villagers exposed for Daniel. ACCM should kill 1 here with a block, I imagine.
Yeah, that should be a kill. Those guys are a long way from home. Oh, he's not going to grief for 2. Yeah, I like that play. He doesn't grief for 2, ends up getting none. He just goes for the 1, secures it. He knows this is a good advantage, and he'll take it. And now he can run around forever. Like, this is very annoying. This is why Scout Rush can be quite awkward to deal with if you're not fully walled.
I make these jokes because like what's cool about the age scene is that we all know each other pretty well, and people's personalities are pretty well known. Like with Daniel, he could sometimes in these cases, like when something good happens, he's like, "Oh, I just won the game. I just won the game. All I do is win," you know. And then like sometimes when something bad happens, he also is thinking like, "Oh no, I just lost the tournament," you know. So I'm hoping he can just keep a cool head here a little bit. It's gonna be rough though. ACCM is in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, look at the scouts coming in, and this is the mentality thing we talked about, right? Like, this is the bad situation for Daniel, but it might not be all lost. Like, he's doing a good job securing that villager, or keeping him alive rather, and he's getting some hits with the spears. Good recovery here. It's not looking too bad for him, and it's not quite over for the game. You know, this is still winnable.
Yeah, I think oftentimes you've got to, well, here you just got to ride this one out, and unfortunately keep a very close eye on all of this, which is frustrating. He just got pop capped a little bit as he's focusing on the scouts. But I guess having faster spearmen does definitely help in these situations.
Oh, bro, they're so fast. They move like a scout, basically. They're just missing the horse.
So you're just going to go, instead of going scouts, what you love, you're just going to go spears?
Dude, 80 farm spears. That's the Lithuanian meta. It's not even hussars. It's spearmen. They move the same speed.
I didn't make your confirmed video yet, so don't say things, man.
Okay. I'll let that come out. Yeah, make it super speedy. I need to see some hussars in there. It makes me smile. You know, I'm a happy guy. You know, I see hussars. It just makes me like what I'm seeing on the screen. Pretty much, it's a good feeling.
Men at Arms made it through, so not bad. But again, it's not like the Man at Arms will contribute too much, except just by time. I think at the end of the day, ACCM will be very happy with the amount of ill kills he was able to get, and will try and macro his way to the next stage.
Yeah, and the men at arms there, like you know, they're more of an early feudal. Once there's any sort of range units, even skirmishers, they usually are able to take them out. ACCM is grabbing wheelbarrow now, and he's gonna transition now to castle age. There's a decision to make. Either he goes elite skirm or he goes knights. But since he's up against Lithuanians, probably makes sense to want to transition to knights because I don't see Lithuanians playing archers long term. That being said, though, Daniel is dropping the second range though, which is interesting.
Daniel is playing this like Britons right now.
Yeah,
Or, you know, like some men-at-arm archer civilization, and this is what I call a caster conversation, because these are the things that like, Dave and I will talk about, because and even though players would never think about it, you know, it does come into play. Like, do you want to maybe try and force Franks into skirms so you can use knights to counter crappy Frank skirmishers? I mean, it's interesting.
I mean that's like an interesting like rock paper scissors kind of format. The only issue with that is that going two ranges, you might be playing too much into the bluff because you're not really going to be able to afford that many knights behind it. So, and the thing is, monks are so powerful at dealing with just a straight couple knights that in this case, once you see the two ranges, ACCM can easily just play the one range skirms. You know, get the good Frank boom behind it, and then the two stable knights behind it himself. There's the second stable.
Yep.
And he'll be okay. He's not going to overcommit to the skirms, you know?
Super clean, too. He's got the wheelbarrow upgrade already in. He got the farm upgrade at the start of feudal. He's threatening villagers, not killing, but threatening and annoying these villagers. So, yeah. I think that the approach for Daniel here, you recognize you're behind, and now you're going to try and make ACCM make some mistakes. A wise player is going to do exactly like you said and just prioritize military first. So he has two stable knights as a plan, but maybe Daniel should do a bit more than your average game. Like add a stable, be a bit greedy with the boom, or it's either a bit more into military than you typically do, I guess, or a bit more into eco than you typically do.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I actually love how you put it, because you can't play standard, but then again, there's no clear cut of what you should do. But both approaches that you mentioned there, like either you go full boom, like greedy mode, or you go full military, all-in mode, and both give like options.
Did you see what he did there? And I think ACCM spotted that. He kept the flag in his ranges, making ACCM think that the archers were still in there, but he ejected most of them, but just not all. And ACCM spotted that and is now checking to see if Daniel's going to sneak. He didn't see anything yet, but he's still looking. This is top level age from both.
ACCM smells the rat. He knows something's coming. Look at him. He found it. Very nice play there for ACCM. He knew something. You know, and there's the archers. Really good awareness there from ACCM. Props, bro.
Oh god, he's also got the scout here too, Hera, so he could actually get a Vil. I don't know why Daniel wasn't walled there. I think he tried to, you know what, he re-walled that so crossbows and skirms couldn't hit his wood line.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. That makes more sense. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Cost him a villager, but well, now the archers are out on the field and ACCM's tailing them with some knights. But in early castle, crossbows do better than knights. You need a few knights to come out first before you can engage.
I like the pre-planning from ACCM. Again, it's just so solid. He made house walls behind the palisades. There's actually one area here, but you know exactly what he could go for if he needs it. It's where you're supposed to say market.
Wait, is there? So there's a ram coming out from ACCM.
Oh,
this is not. Yeah, this is not the conventional siege push. Usually you see Maggots, maybe some scorpions. Ram says, "I'm gonna kill you." Like that's what a ram says.
Crazy. Yeah. Market wall for ACCM wasn't really needed, and Daniel, he gets pounced on. I think it was a good idea from Daniel to try and come back with a sneaky push, but ACCM, he's wise to his tricks, man. And that ram, honestly, it's amazing because like, normally I think ram opening is pretty poor because military units can take it out, but there's no stable for Daniel.
Yeah, but I feel like you need the Magneto. Like he can't really pressure the archer ranges because even the crossbows can take out the ram. I know it's slow, but you know the crossbows are behind walls and the rams can't really get in. So I think you need to wait. Yeah, and there's the Magneto. Wait for the Magneto, then the ram becomes very powerful, and that can make for a big push. Let's see what comes. You know, what ACCM makes of this, but he's looking forward here.
Daniel on the second TC actually has a villager lead. Immediately ejects and will try and focus down the knights. Actually. Oh, he's trying to focus down the ram, and he responds with his own siege workshop. Probably was not expecting this, and will be upset to see that Mangonel because that gold is also very forward here.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. The ram is going down, but the Mangonel behind it, that's what that's the real power here. The Mangonel keeping the crossbows off, the ram doing the damage here. And if Daniel's not careful, he's gonna be in a world of trouble here if the Knights get in. And there
Wow.
they are.
Yeah, they're in. Also, the villagers repairing the ram, which is sick.
Oh yeah, behind. Didn't even see her actually.
Yeah,
What the
it's
hell?
repairing the ram back there, so that ram's gonna stay up. And at the very least, Daniel's losing villagers, has idle time, and is off gold, and is also losing ranges. So I mean, there's just a lot going on, and it's also not even an all-in build from ACCM. He's got some eco at home to work with 2 TCs, so this is pretty good.
Yeah, 2DC. He can afford the third if he wants to, and he's got the option to mix in more siege as well. It really depends on what he wants to do, and this is exactly where you want to be here. He's in the driver's seat, and he can decide what exactly he wants to do. Conversion for Daniel, though. He takes those.
Yeah, yep, and repair. Okay, she hops out of the ram, and now is going to repair the Bacchanal. Oh, man, the value. And oh my god, Harold, massive shot. Daniel's in big trouble, and he just calls it.
No, that's not what you want to see on the defense. The big shot there to end it off, man. Oh god. Well played, ACCM, man. That was a clean game. That was just a clean game, start to finish there.
I feel like we went into this expecting this to be kind of meta v meta, Lithuanians and Franks, Scouts and the Knights and Monks and all that. But maybe it's a mindset thing from Daniel. I don't know if it's a preference thing or a mindset thing or both. But if you see someone as a stronger player, you almost always don't want to go full meta against them because they, in theory, would be better off there. So I don't know what really factored into the decision making. Clearly, Daniel didn't have the best game losing his Scout either, but ACCM gets the first one.
Yeah, and it's not even to say that he played something completely outside the box. You know, he just played something maybe that's not the most comfortable option for Lithuanians. Yeah, hard to say exactly why he chose to go for it. Maybe in a winner's interview. You know, this is just game one in a best of seven, so Daniel has all the time in the world to come back here. But yeah, well played, ACCM. Really good display of the Franks cavalry there with the forward siege to put the pressure in the game.
And you know, people listening might be like, "All right, Hera, please, like, all right, you know, ACCM's clearly looking good." But guys, we've seen so many comebacks and sets; it's unreal in these qualifiers. We've seen reverse sweeps. We saw the previous set, which I guess I can't spoiler now because people might have just got here, but that also was insane. And I'm with you, man. I think anything can happen with the settings too, and with the complication of the Civ draft. So,
Can I comment on something actually from a player point of view going into this? Because I actually helped a couple people prepare for the for the qualifiers.
yeah,
And
sure.
the fact that all games have to be played in this best of seven, like all the maps have to be played, makes it actually pretty easy to prepare a draft. So just a little bit of insight here that both players, or pretty much all the players going to this best of seven, had very good preparation, or
Yeah.
should have had good preparation, and know what they wanted to play on the different maps. And I think that's really interesting in this in this qualifier deciding series.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point as well, they've also played 2 rounds. I guess in Daniel's case, he actually did not have to play round 1 because his opponent was unable to make it. But like, you have a good understanding of the maps at this point, and so you have a good feel for what you're strong on and what you're not. So, anyways,
Yeah,
are you ready for game number 2?
Ready when you are, man. Hop in there.
All right, cool. Yeah, so just to clarify something, someone asking about the global ban being the same. The way the global ban works is it's actually hidden until both players do their thing. So that means that in this case, both players globally banned Mayans, then it was revealed, and then they could see. And yeah, we're 12 seconds into game number 2, and Daniel has a Civ that we have seen very frequently, and same with ACCM. Daniel as the Tatars, ACCM as the Berbers.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting. We've
Did
seen
you
this a few times now, eh?
Say that again. Sorry.
We've seen this matchup a few times now in this this qualifier.
A little bit, man. I'm curious about it. I think a lot of it has to do with where you fit civilizations in a draft setting. If this was a free pick scenario like other tournaments, then it might not go this route. But both seem to be strong. If you had to pick one for your play style and all things considered, which civ of the 2 would you prefer?
Definitely the Tatars here, just because it's easier to win with Tatars than it is to win with Berbers. To win condition with Tatar is simply like mobility with cav archers or like crossbow opening and cav archers, and then you just play with the hill bonus. You have a solid boom, very good late game. Whereas Berbers, they have to kind of be the ones forcing onto the cav archers, camels, knights, something like that to chase them around.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing I don't like to do is chase around someone who can always kite back. I don't like to be in that position.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I do feel like the Tars should be the stronger Civ, but we have seen it go both ways, I believe. So definitely an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, if we're getting extremely technical about small things, it honestly comes down to the positioning the Berber player is able to get with the Siege Workshop with Scorpions.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll see Janitors here to counter Cav Archers. But
Yeah, Leary was talking a lot about Janitors, by the way. What do you think about that, though? Is that something viable, or is it just something that's like sounds good on paper, but you can never really get to that mass? What do you think about Janitors?
see, most of my opinions come from seeing it play out, and high-level players are so stubborn that they're never going to use them. So that's on you. I need you to use them more, please.
All right, I got you. Listen, if you see one Janitor, just one, in the main event, just know, remember this conversation. I'm gonna make one Janitor if I land Berbers here, okay? I'll put him in the corner.
Just one.
Just one, yeah. I'm not because I can't commit to. Dude, there's a lot of money on the line, man. It's a 60K tournament. There's a lot of fame, a lot of money, dude. I need to win the tournament. There's a lot of pressure riding on me. I'll make you one Janitor. It's the max.
Dude, what if like 4 people send a Janitor into the corner in the first round now?
then I clowned your tournament. I don't know what to tell you.
You just completely played the audience, okay? If any other players listening right now, we're screwed. So, anyways, we'll see. What's funny is Leary also said like I'd never do this or I would do this, and Doubt did when he was casting. So after I brought it up, they were immediately like, "No, I'm just kidding. I would definitely do that." They immediately backtracked. So,
no, I'm not backtracking, man. If I say something, it's gonna happen. Just keep it out. We'll see. There's a lot of variables there. By the way, there's no wolves in the middle, like from the path. Normally, there's wolves on the map here that are that you can drag, but we're actually not seeing wolves in the center of the map.
So
like from Daniel to ACCM, the path.
So that's the way that the map is designed, actually, because I didn't want to discourage feudal age aggro. And previous versions always had the wolves in the middle, so it's actually always on the sides. What can be a little weird, though, is if, let's say, Daniel were to spawn exactly in the south, then he might need to do some finagling and repositioning of his units. But that's designed, so you can,
I knew that.
Man-at-Arms or something. Yeah, you definitely knew that, and so did Leary earlier with other things.
Yeah, definitely. Very good point. Glad to see you know your things, T9. He was just testing you around that one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept. I love this gold rush, by the way. It's amazing.
Daniel, don't do it. Not again. Oh, God, you've got to be kidding me, man. That's 2 games in a row, Hera. Oh.
I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that. Is that nerves? Is that just super unlucky? And again, he sees the walls. Like, he should have time to react. It does. And by the way, Daniel, from playing him in rated games, I can tell you, he's not the type to make these mistakes, not 2 games in a row.
I mean, the first one was absolutely inexcusable because he saw the berries. So here, the wall foundations are showing up on the minimap, but he wouldn't have seen that. It was just the stragglers. I guess you could say that's unlucky, but you see the main stone. I think you got to be safer. Hug the edge of the map. Look at the reaction from ACCM too, and actually the difference because ACCM has been forward this whole time, and look what he's scouted. So he's in a great spot.
And like, what do you do now if you're Daniel? Because like, you lose your scout, you don't really know anything of what ACCM is doing.
Yep.
And it kind of halts any aggression you can do because now you can't stop the walls from going up. You don't have that scout to block if you want to go men-at-arms. It just feels like it makes it really awkward for you. But we'll see what he follows it up with. Honestly, it feels like that's very demoralizing at this point.
Yeah, I would be demoralized. I mean, you go into it probably realizing you're going to give it your best shot, but ACCM's the favorite, and then that happens. ACCM in interviews seems like a really happy guy normally, so I'm sure that he's just like, woohoo,
Just super cheerful, super wholesome. Yeah, gets the scout. That's a gift for him for sure. He'll take it. Yeah, I don't know. And actually, in this case, if you're ACCM, do you want to just wall up and go for a fast castle, or do you want to just play feudal pressure and just be up the scout since Daniel lost it? Because you can sneak a fast castle potentially at this point.
I mean, you're so far apart from each other on Gold Rush normally that I think it makes perfect sense to go fast castle. And that, more than anything, is why I think fast castling is happening. So Cross in Arabia, sometimes you're really close. And it makes sense to... And also you have to wall more because you can't wall to the edge of the map sometimes. So like here, you know what's coming. You could prep more walls if need be. He honestly has a really good base layout, even if he needs to make a second layer of walls. So I'd say stick with this and... The only thing that could make things worse for Daniel is if he ran into the wolves, but he didn't, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say at least now that path from player to player, as we talked about, the men at arms are going in. And again, the question is, you can't really break through the walls, you know. So the max this is gonna do is just force some idle time, maybe some walling behind, some house walling. We'll see what ACCM reacts with, but I'm just not convinced. I'm not sold on the men at arm idea. I don't think that's what you want to do on this kind of map because it's so equal.
On the bright side, though, I'm not really sold with ACCM's build because he's gonna make it to feudal. And he won't have the res to click up. So if there's this 1 or 2 minute window where he's close to clicking up but doesn't click up to Castle Age, and with the Tatars and the extra sheep and plus an archer follow-up, which will threaten somewhat, I could actually see this being okay for Daniel.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. ACCM not getting the cleanest, and he doesn't. He has like only 2 farms. It's kind of a weird build. 2 farms, 4 berries. He's kind of relying on the deer, which are long distance. So that's a good point. If the build fails, he's not able to click up the castle. He could find himself in an awkward position here. We'll see. The archers are coming across the map now for Daniel. That is good. Well, the archer, I suppose.
Woo! But you know what's crazy? He's going for a range here, bro. He's not going for a stable, which we've seen most times with Berbers to go to the cheap knights. You mentioned the Genitors.
Oh no! Don't tell me. If we actually see Genitors here, he's got a skirmisher. I feel like we're getting hinted to it, like with a range skirmisher. You know, it's so close. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe he'll create one and send it to the corner where that goat is over there, which he stole from Daniel earlier, by the way.
True. ACCM, man, took a goat and the scout. Daniel's the big loser in Dark Age here, trying to force his way through with the, with the men at arms, with the archer, but you need more archers there to really put the pressure on the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like Daniel's position now because, well, he has 100 food. He's just started to invest into farms. He's had the Tatar sheep, and ACCM is in limbo right now. He's got 500 food, but is less on food, and he's playing defensive. So unless the castle time comes in significantly faster for ACCM, I think Daniel, when he starts to realize around the 18th minute that ACCM didn't go straight FC, I think he'll be feeling fine.
Yeah. This is a bad situation for ACCM though. Like, this is as bad as it gets, I think, because he didn't get his clean fast castle on, and he's forced into a unit that, in my opinion, is like pretty much the worst thing you can be playing, which is skirmishers, because it lacks mobility. You get hard countered by knights, which are pretty, it's a pretty natural unit that Tatars want to go for, and he's still on the defensive. He doesn't have the map control. So, in my opinion, this is kind of as bad as it gets for ACCM, despite his really good start sniping Daniel Scout.
Yeah, also just not really not really the style you want to play on this map. But I guess at the end of the day, it looks like he is going to click up. It's just going to be but this would be fast castle by most of Twitch chat standards. But this is very slow castle for the high level players here. Sorry, Twitch chat. Not all of you. I know some of you guys are gods. So.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch chats, they vary, but I realize their expertise comes out when players make a mistake. You know what I mean?
True.
When I make a mistake in the game, all of a sudden, it does feel like their expertise starts to shine there. They know what I should have done, and I wouldn't underestimate them too much.
That's true. They always know.
They know things, man.
If they were to just, it's really nice of them to not, put their best effort into a tournament, because if they did that, then you just never have a chance.
Oh, dude, I would never have gotten 2K6 if Twitch chat was playing on the live.
No.
Like, forget about it. Those guys are way too knowledgeable. They know everything. They never make mistakes.
The only reason I'm going down this sarcasm train right now is because, thank God, this isn't directed at casters. Because it could so easily be directed at a caster, because the caster's always talking about like what should happen, what shouldn't happen, what's bad, So as long as the casters are safe, I'm good.
Do you know what's my definition of a caster?
Why did I even say that? Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
A caster is a backseat gamer that happens to be streaming. So think about it. I mean, look at us, me and you here. You're streaming, and we're talking about what the player should have done. We're just Twitch chat that are actually streaming perspective. It's what it is. Listen, it sounds degrading, I know, and you put a lot of effort. You're 8 hours in. This is not what you want to be hearing, but let the truth sink in, man.
Truth. How many $10,000 tournaments have you won this year?
Oh, you want to play
in the
that
last year? I might. Hey, I won one $10,000 tournament. You didn't win any, so I'll take it. All right, it went to charity and it was Battle Royale, but I'll take it.
You actually have a better tournament record than I do. Yeah, okay. Well played. Well played.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been like, I was honestly thinking today, do I have to use that? You know, like when am I gonna have to break out this joke? Because you don't want to like pick the wrong time. But, anyways,
Of
fair
course.
is fair. Double oof there, and we're back to the game here. And like I said, I think that the skirms, not really ideal. Now he's going into knights, which is fine, but at least Daniel in 40 seconds is going to have a big ball of archers. He's going to have around, like, say, 16 to 18 with thumb ring in a moment.
So the thing is, that whole scrim step was just to stay safe, just to keep, keep the wall secure, make sure you're not taking any damage in feudal age. And now he's going two stable knights, but he's not going for the siege shop right away. That being said, there's the villager walking forward, but he did have a second TC though.
This is a weird balance.
That's ambitious. That's an ambitious siege workshop right there. Maybe buzzing off that first game, but this is not the same situation. There's 15 archers there, free thumb ring kicking in for Tatars, and he changes his mind, goes for that center instead.
Yeah. I don't mind the siege workshop at all. And I actually brought up at the start that the positioning of that can sometimes be the difference in this matchup. What's weird to me is actually the choice to go TC. That almost tells me he's not going to have the resources to make a lot of knights. He's not going to have the resources for chain barding. And Daniel's a massive nerd. Like, he could micro down a Magnell or two. So I think that if Daniel just passes the siege workshop and has the confidence to push forward, of course he doesn't know that he's gone for the TC back there, but he could actually do damage. Not even more than the wolves are doing right now.
And I don't know if we've seen this often, but we've seen a lot of Tatar players kind of force their way into cav archers. I do love the crossbow step here. The crossbow step is going to allow him to get map control without having to just mass the cav archers starting from castle age. So now he's got the massive crossbows. He's able to put pressure. He's got a Camler to go with them. That's going to help him, tank against the knights. And this could do real damage to ACCM. He's got to be careful. He wants to put the pressure, but ACCM does have to be careful. He doesn't die at home.
Also, the second TC... Also, that lumber efficiency is a little whack, but second TC is on that gold there. But the 3-tile gold that he's mining on the left and the farms could all be ranged if these units break in. So this just comes down to the confidence you have to have and reading the situation in the moment. Will Daniel want to run through here, or is he going to realize that that's not a good option for him?
Yeah, I think he shouldn't. He knows. Okay, the reason why I think he shouldn't is because he knows the siege shop is behind him, and he knows there's gonna be stuff coming his way. making me eat my words. All right, Daniel, prove me wrong, bro. Prove me wrong. That's all I can say.
Oh my god, dude! How can he walk around with balls these big, man? That was amazing. Like, scorpions and knights are back here, and he just ran right in. But I guess I don't know if this is gonna be good or bad. I feel like he needs a few kills to justify getting this army trapped.
Yeah, this is extremely risky for a guy who lost to Scott twice. This is you think he's scared of the TC by now, but it seems like he's not. 3 scorpions. I don't know, man.
Man, I mean, okay. On the bright side, he has time to transition the CA and send them across the map, but it really he got a villager kill there. That villager was idle anyways, so it was as good as dead. Yeah, it just doesn't feel great.
Yeah. Okay. He's stutter stepping though. He's getting some decent trades actually. It's not the worst thing ever, but it feels inevitable that army will get cleaned up. There's now the CA switch behind us all, and we'll see what kind of value that Daniel can get with this kind of army that's dead men walking.
Yeah, honestly, the time he's getting is insane right now. So that definitely is a resource in a way.
I agree with that. That's something that doesn't get talked about enough actually. Ooh, the scorpion hits. Oh, that's another resource in a way, getting the big shots there. Very nice. Very satisfying. But yeah, time as a resource, I definitely agree with that. And now Daniel's got the time to mass up the CA, which is kind of like the big Tatar strength on this map. But maybe playing overly aggressive. He's trying to go in again at the right side.
Was that a problem? I talked to Leary about this. He said that in the past he would sometimes dive in with armies and lose them. Was that a problem that you faced as well, where you're an aggressive player, you're always known to be a fast player, but you would overextend?
Yeah. Dude, like you overextend until you get masterpiece by the Viper. You're getting walled in, but everyone can wall you in these days. It's not the level has been raised so high, so you're gonna just have to make the mistakes until you learn that it's not gonna pay off, and then that voice in your head will start to take over, like, don't go past the TC. It's not worth it, bro.
Yeah.
Run back, and then you'll start doing that. So, yeah, it's something that Daniel will definitely learn from going forward. But it's not the worst thing. Like, he did buy himself some time. Vil count there's only 5 in it, and it's actually in favor of Daniel. So we'll see what the rest of this game brings here.
ACCM went for a middle Siege Workshop. The only place he's used his Siege is at home. It's so weird, you know? But I guess getting the Siege home was important.
Yeah, I mean, considering where he wanted to build that siege shop at first, I think his plans, changed quite drastically since his first original placements. And what do you think of the 2TC play? Oh, sorry, make that 3TC from Daniel. Never mind, forget that question. Moving on.
So I like it because it was all within decent balance. He went into Expo and a few camels, and then he went for the second TC. Then he's lost his Expos, and then he was massing more CA without losing them. Now he's gone for the third TC. He's actually on stone currently, and so he's thinking about an eventual castle in the middle. He hasn't lost his CA mass, and also sometimes when people go Cav Archers is they commit to 3 or 4 ranges. He's just done a good job at slowly massing them up, and for ACCM, we talked about, was he committing for Knights? Is he committing for Siege? Was he committing for Boom? It's just more questions over how this is going to play out for him, so I do prefer Daniel's current position a lot.
Man, this is why Berbers are so awkward. Like, you're just running around. Like that's what you do on this map with Berbers. You just take Berbers, you get cheaper Knights and Camels, and you just run around. You just go. And it's just so awkward. Like there's no win condition for a while here, it feels like. And Dan has full control, getting wheelbarrow. Okay. Yeah.
I would say that's why it's really important to have a faster Castle Age, right? Because he was so late to Castle Age, he couldn't use cheap Knights early, and now Tatars are completely fine, and these Wolves are having a field day here. Oh my god, that guy dodged like 20 arrows.
Yeah, there's stun ring, but no ballistics, obviously. There's still a wolf tag in the CA here. But now he's pulling up ballistics. He's pulling up the extra stables. Notice he's tacking everything to Castle Age. He's not thinking about Imperial Age, and that's what I love about this map. It brings out the aggression from both sides. Both players now, even ACCM adding stables, it's going to be all in castle from both sides.
Difference being, one person's going to have camels and ranged units. The other person's just going to have the melee units. So I really like the call from Daniel, because so many players would say, oh, I'm winning. Let's just drop a castle in the middle and go imp. And Daniel's actually going for a 4th town center to secure the gold in the middle. And then also is just going to create non-stop camels with his Cav Archers. And that is a spot where if you're Berbers, you probably need to have either a lot more Knights and Camels, as this is a decent fight for ACCM, or maybe Camel Archers with your Knights.
Yeah, but Camel Archers are so awkward. You need that castle. You need to start producing them, get the upgrades. It's a bit more of a transition. I mean, I don't mean to meme, but we did talk about Janitors. And with Janitors, like, how, is that a viable option? Again, we haven't really seen it, so we're going to assume that it's not a good idea, but that is a potential range unit for Berbers. ACCM choosing to move for the town center in the center. He's going to stick with Cavalry and Scorpions for the time being, though.
A lot of Scorpions. Like, he's got 5 Scorpions, and in some cases, if you're not paying attention with your Cav Archers, that could be problematic. And they're also not too bad versus Camels either. Like, I wouldn't fight this right now if I'm Daniel. I think, if anything, you're only going to take a fight if you're on the hill, but maybe he thinks otherwise.
Yeah, so like I guess my read of the situation is that Scorpions don't scale ever, whereas my Cav Archers will scale so hard as the game goes on. But there's a big fight breaking out here. Seems like it's in favor of Daniel, though.
Yeah. The Camels they just didn't kill too much, but they were a meat shield, so the Cav Archers could stay safe. +2 is in on these Knights. And I think all Daniel's going to do is hit and run, and this is the problem you mentioned. When you've got the Cav Archers and it's actually working, it is really problematic to deal with.
Yeah, now a castle coming down. Oh, I don't really like that. He's trying to force the castle where the pressure's coming in, where I feel like it doesn't have to. There's still the gold on the right side. Like, that's not your only gold pile on this version of Gold Rush. So that castle, maybe you don't need to force it. It goes for the center, though. Splits on that Mangonel stick play there.
Yeah, nice. It's kind of like picking off the reinforcements almost, just waiting for a few more units to maybe get back to building the castle. Good patience here, and look at him loop around. Yeah, if he cuts off the reinforcements, Scorpions are kind of just stuck there, and he might be able to pounce on them and any future Knights.
Yeah, I think as far as like the eco back home here, maybe needing some more farms for Daniel, but he's doing pretty well as far as Vil count goes, and he can really double down on the food unit productions now, like Camels, Knights himself. And this big ball of CA should, in theory, never die here. He can just continue running around with him.
This is what we expected from this series, not game number 1. This type of game right here, very close, and very. even in many ways is what we expected, as ACCM will try and drop a castle, and he does have a TC in the middle. I don't agree with farming in the middle personally, but
Yeah, it's a bit awkward
we'll
there on the hill. Yeah, castle again getting kind of denied for now, so both players getting some weird castles, but Daniel looks like he's going to finish his as ACCM is forced to run back, and this is Cav Archer mobility. This is why they beat Scorpions. So now ACCM's back to chasing, back to running around.
Did ACCM get husbandry?
Surely he did.
It kind of we don't see Cav Archers that frequently, but it almost looks like he might not have husbandry here, man. Look how fast the Cav Archers are in comparison.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, but he does have husbandry.
Okay.
The Cav Archers are really balanced, you know? They're really, really balanced, you know, so.
Yeah, man. So are longswords? Too soon?
Way too soon, man. But we'll make it happen one day, guys. I will win a tournament game with Hun Longswords. It's my pocket unit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, it's cool, dude. I only make that joke because I know you can take it, so no worries.
I dish it, but I take it as well, so it's a balance.
On the way to Imp is Daniel. He's gonna heal up his Cav Archers inside of the castle, and this largely comes back to not having to spend a lot of food and gold. Whereas, even though the camels and knights are cheap, ACCM has had to do that. And whoa, that's a. I know you have a siege workshop in the middle castle.
He's like too shy to go all the way up the hill, but still wants the middle control. Oh, but like, you're going up to Imp though. Why not just chill for a little bit? Yeah, you can just chill. You don't have to force the castle in the center now. You can get up to Imp, get the Bracer chemistry, you get the free parts and tactics, and then force the castle in the center once you're at Imp. But don't try to do it now and throw the game. He decides to do it at home. Why did he feel like he had to place it now? That's my question here.
I can kind of relate to that, honestly, in my gameplay, because sometimes you're thinking about, like, you're collecting resource with a purpose, right? So you get the stone for castle. You sometimes feel like let's secure the map and double down in an area, but that honestly we might look back at that being a moment where Daniel could have lost a foothold in a very important game, because now ACCM's taking the hill. Oh, wait a second, the Keshiks are here, Hera. That could be a down castle.
Ooh, the Keshiks are in. These villagers actually don't have wheelbarrow, which is important because they don't move that fast. So if the Keshiks can actually chase them down, ACCM's gonna have to abandon. He's not even gonna attempt to wall it in. And all of a sudden, it looks really good for Daniel. We won't be looking back at this from his perspective. Imperially just coming in now as well.
It was just a bait, wasn't it? He's like, if I leave the hill, then he will try and castle there, and I can deny it. I'm sure, knowing Daniel, that he thought that far ahead.
If he thought that far ahead, that's quite impressive, and well, it worked out for him. And is he actually? He looks like he's committing to Keshiks, by the way. I love that choice. I think it's not bad because they're a cheap meat shield and they don't cost you a lot of gold, and you're doing them naturally because you already have the castles down. So not a bad option there. Could be potentially a bit sketchy against the camel archers and the heavy camels, but he's got a foothold now with Imp. And But this is what I'm talking about. Like, he couldn't make the castle in the middle if he didn't make it on the side now. Like, this is the whole point. Now he doesn't have the stone, you know?
Did he transfer off of stone? It says he has one on stone. Oh, he's making a new mining camp there. Okay, so he just realized that himself. Now, I definitely see what you're talking about. I suppose it's good if he can hold the middle with military for now and just take his trebs up there. But how sick would it be with a castle there and then trebs below it?
Yeah, that's the dream. If anything, I'd actually want to see Daniel, like, buy stone or really, really prioritize that because... like, getting a castle in the center with the Tar Trebs, +2 range there. Not for the Flaming Camels, that's not why we get that sack. With the +2 range Trebs, from the hill, you can literally treb everything. And that's why the Civ is so dangerous, even in the Imperial Age here. As he sets up the trebuchets there. Imp for ACCM, though. Okay.
Well, you know what? This should be good for Daniel, because he should get some kills in there. Gets a few hits as well on units that don't die. And yeah, now Imp for ACCM, he's a little bit away from some of these upgrades. You think that ACCM needs to force a fight against the Trebs?
Yeah, it reminds me of the game we saw between Hart and Barrows. I don't want to spoil the result. I'm being very careful about that, but it does feel like the same situation where now the Berber player has to fight uphill versus the Tars, and yeah, there's the castle. If there's one thing I know about the Tars is that you don't want to fight them uphill. They get an even bigger downhill attack bonus with downhill if they're at the top of the hill, and that's exactly where we see Daniel setting up here. But okay.
Well, if you take the hill, then the fight's going to be better at least. But I don't know if that castle ever gets stopped here. Power of heavy camels are doing pretty good, actually. Doing amazingly well, and Daniel now has the castle, but he needs to run away.
Oh god, don't tell me. They ate through the Keshiks. The castle's now up. CA running away. Those are heavy CA.
Huh. So
Wow, this game wide open now.
So we made comparisons to the game in the previous set, and again, we don't want to spoil, but I will say that what Daniel's trying to do here is mix in a bunch of units. He didn't commit to every single upgrade on the Cav Archers and a big ball of Cav Archers. He instead tried to mix in Keshiks. Do you think that maybe he should have waited to mix in Keshiks and save his resources for other things, or is it just the power of heavy camels there?
Yeah, it does feel like heavy camel would melt through any kind of cavalry. Maybe even like stop with the Keshiks now because they were good at a certain time to like get control of the hill. But at this point, once you see the heavy camel, they're not good anymore. So maybe attack off them. And I see him getting halberdier now. Maybe that's the next option. The Tar halbs are not most.
I think the Tar halbs are the worst halbs in the game, right?
Yeah. As far as halberdier goes, they definitely are because they're missing two infantry armor. And that's like the most important upgrade on the halbs. But oh my god, dude, the Cav Archers shred from the top of the hill. Like they're really strong.
Yeah, and that is what Daniel needs to hold to now. That middle area. He's getting some unique techs now. I like to see that. I think that's probably silk armor on the way. Yep. And Cav Archer Keshik. You could even get elite Keshik, and that's on the way. I feel like that is arguably stronger than full camel archer and heavy camel, but it's definitely more realistic for both players right now, or for Daniel to get to as opposed to ACCM.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, the big thing here is the positioning. Like Daniel's always going to be fighting from the hill. He's the one that's going to be defending in the fight. So like running in for ACCM is just so much harder because you'll lose 3-4 units along the way. And now the Keshiks can actually help snipe the Trebs. I want to see maybe bomber cannons for ACCM that can maybe snipe the Trebs from Daniel.
That's a good point.
Big.
I mean, he's making a lot of castles right now. ACCM. He's gonna lose some too. I feel like you're eventually gonna run out of stone. And if you're not pushing up this hill, though he's trying. He's got 3 Trebs here. He might actually take out the middle castle.
Yeah, this is very important. He needs to somehow kill the castle. But Daniel has enough stone in the bank for another, and he's really producing here. The big problem for ACCM is that he's just producing from 2 stables, by the way. What is that?
Oh my god, he didn't control group his other stables, dude. He's got like 25 camels queued up in 2 stables. No.
Yeah, that's such a tournament mistake, man. Like that never happens in rated games, but lo and behold, tournaments and all the mistakes are coming out, and that's killing his momentum, and he's probably wondering why I don't have camels on the field. I keep producing them, but he's just not checking. It's the brain farts coming out, and well, Daniel's composition looks better. He's fighting from the better area. Looking good for Daniel. Do
you use go to all stable or go to all archery and hotkeys, or do you just control group your buildings? Like
control group because I'm old, but I think the other one's better.
Okay, yeah. I'm the same way. I think it's because we've played this game for so long. That we control group our buildings because we're used to it, but I guess ACCM's the same way, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The new hotkeys are just the transition is not so smooth, and that's kind of one of the reasons where the select all will help. And it feels like the USA player here, he's busting this game wide open.
Seriously,
gold control now. It's gone for ACCM. This game's coming close to an end.
And honestly, with the queue that he had. I mean, it's hard to say because I still like Daniel's position, but I look at these 2 stables now, and I can't do math all that well, but I think that's still over 20 camels. If he would have had those like 20 additional camels at one stage of this game, he might have been able to push up that hill.
And he was gaining momentum. Like, he actually killed the castle from Daniel in the center.
Yeah.
There's 20 extra heavy camels with the elite camel archer that he's now taken into with Caspa as well coming in. That's a strong army. That could maybe get you back in the game, but at this point, the composition is not quite there. Daniel's flooding 200 pop, and he's relentless with the pressure. I mean, the Trebs one cast after the next, and it's only a matter of time at this point.
Siege Ram on the way. Is this a bad time to admit I didn't know the Tatars even got Siege Ram?
Yeah, I kind of forgot as well, but it's in the kit.
Do you remember the 24-hour stream with the Tatar trebuchets? It makes me sad that Tatar trebuchets are a thing now, you know? Feels bad.
Oh yeah, when you were trying to snipe the freaking thing, right?
Yeah, yep. It was I swore on that day that I would never look at a Tatar treb again, but this tournament has proved me wrong, so.
Yeah, the extra range Tatar treb. GG, well played to Daniel, bringing us to 1-1, man. That's That's what we expected from the series. Back and forth on the games, and well played there, start to finish, solid game.
But also, we spoke about mindset. He's lost his scout in both games, and after getting destroyed in game one, he could have easily tilted, make poor decisions, and then lost this game as well. And he kept his mind together. I feel like his macro, his military choice, and the timing of everything was spot on. And now he's got to be feeling good going into the next game. And for ACCM, he didn't have anything really like frustrating happen in this game besides the loss. But we didn't agree with the opening. The archery range opening, the slow castle time, the momentum was all for the Tatars, and Daniel took advantage. So
Absolutely.
both games, the loser being a little shaky compared to their peak form.
Yeah, and we did see the mistakes start to come out from ACCM as the game went on there. I will say though, there is one thing to consider is that Tatars were the better Civ,
Yep.
on this map. However, actually I say that, but Berbers was picked earlier in the draft by ACCM than Daniel picked Tatars. So it actually turns out that ACCM thought Berbers was the better Civ. So maybe this is a big hit to the mental when you think your better Civ actually ends up performing worse going into the game.
See, you say that Tatars are better. I think it depends, obviously, because I have seen instances where the player with Berbers goes for a 16-minute castle as opposed to, 1822, and is able to get a few knights out with Scorpions, and knights with Scorpions in the forward position, and that game can play out differently. So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I think it's probably easier to play into Tatars there, but yeah, but the draft is certainly going to matter here, and there's the KD. Overall, Daniel had way more gold collected, and they actually both mined through all of their stone, and 3,152 was the amount.
Okay, where's the two though? Where is the two coming from?
Honestly,
I have a problem with this because sometimes you're actually missing one stone for a castle. Think about
wait a second. You think the rare times that you're missing one stone for a castle comes back to this?
They took it from me. Yes, but where is the two coming from? You have a better explanation than that?
So I think the market is brought into the equation here, right?
Is it?
Like if you, for example, if you have excess wood and you sell, it actually should reflect in the gold amount at the end in the market.
No.
Like market sell count counts as gold collected. So I think if you buy stone, but then again,
you're bro sciencing it, Tinani. You're bro sciencing. You can't buy 52 stone.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I know. I'm trying to. You know what's funny, Hera, is yesterday, there was a game where both players had collected 3,153 stone. I'm not even kidding.
Keep taking my stone, Tinani. I'm telling you.
It just gets
where are they coming from?
It just gets lower by one every single game until the finals.
The finals, both players 5 stone collected. Very nice, Oh god, man.
I could see T West. I don't know if T West is watching right now, but that's a T West thing. T West is going to be on that. So
investigate. Keep your eyes peeled on YouTube, chat.
Yeah. Anyways, so next game coming up here will be game number 3, and this means that we'll now go to one of ACCM's home maps. Fascinating history with ACCM. Now, I think he's ironed these kinks out of his game, which is really good because it didn't work out. But he actually picked Berbers frequently on Cross last year for Hidden Cup. So. In fact, that was very easy to call when I saw him in the main event. He's used Berbers, and I think on Cross he might go for something like Huns if he goes that route. Islands, of course, is a completely different conversation. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I think it has to be Huns, judging by his draft. Now that Berbers are out of the question, like there's no really other Civ you want on Cross, and then from Dana's perspective, it just has to be Japanese as well. Those are the two best Civs there, from what's left at least.
Okay. Could you consider going Italians if you're Daniel going on Cross, or is that just too silly when you've got potential for islands?
No, I thought Italians are good there. Italians are way worse than Japanese there, it turns out. As far as eco goes, Japanese fishing ships actually comes out clutch. Italians do have a slightly better tech tree for late game, but unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but you should definitely prioritize your eco. So I would say Japanese here and save Italians for islands where they're the top Civs.
All right, sick. Well, game 3 on Cross. Let's go. We've seen a lot of Huns in Japanese. I think that Cross. Well, honestly, all of the qualifier maps are maps where we probably won't have too much in ways of like surprises for the main event. It's not like I think anyone's going to prepare to go like, I don't know, maybe someone adopts the Persian douche from Rubenstock and uses it in the main event. But overall, I think that the civs for these maps are somewhat expected here. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, like the thing is, like the qualifying players, and this might not have been true like a few years ago, but the qualifying players are top players nowadays. Like it's not like these guys are a step below anymore. So they know the meta, and I think for Cross especially, it's been pretty figured out that Japanese, Lithuanians, Huns, those are kind of generally known. It's widely known that those are the best three civs. And then Byzantines is up in the air as well as maybe a wild card. So yeah, I don't think we'll see much changes with that. I don't know who you prefer though here, Japanese or Huns. What do you think?
Normally, I'd try and avoid saying it depends, but I've been live for 10 hours, so it depends. Like, it really, if Japanese are able to get the fishing ships going, then it can be quite strong. What I like about Japanese, too, is the fact that if they get surprised on water, their fishing ships are armored. And,
T-Drems, bro.
you know what? I take it back. I actually would slightly prefer Japanese because of all the bonuses. The cheap lumber camps mean you can dock a bit earlier. Fishing ships are armored. You can have the flexibility to afford a barracks to go for man-at-arms. Whereas for Huns, even though I think Huns are way more fun to play, and their mid-game is probably stronger than Japanese, it can be quite hard to defend at times.
Okay.
What about
All
you?
right. That's it. Oh, I'm not going to talk about it, dude. I got the main event to play. I got the main event to play. Dude, for a caster, man, not a bad assessment there. I will not credit nor take anything away there. Keep my cards close to my chest, it's just the way the game's played.
Okay, fair. Well, I think since you can't shred any insight on what Huns can do, and if you like it, since we're keeping secrets from each other now, I do like Huns a lot here if they're able to survive against the things I mentioned. So man-at-arms come in, then at that point, the fact you're not building houses is starting to pay off. You could switch into the ranges, sometimes mix in cav archers, which we saw Daniel win with in the previous game. But it's rather tough. Did you happen to pick up on the changes we made with Cross this year?
Well, okay, so I'll tell you what I've noticed. So you took away that random thing in the middle, so that's gone, which I thought was pretty cool, but it's gone now, so I'm not too worried about it. There's 3 relics on the mainland, 1 in each corner. There's less fish. You guys stole some of my fish, that's for sure. And it does seem more open in some cases, so that's what I picked up on. Am I right, wrong?
Yeah, right. So first off, there's 4 relics that should be on the mainland, unless we're missing something. Yes, and then there's 4, 1 in each corner, and that deer is trolling Daniel right now. That deer just ran to the other side of the wood line. But yeah, so the relics are definitely a factor. I've actually only seen 1 player even get relics out of the middle in the entire qualifier. I think it can be nice, but it's just a lot of clicks. And ACCM saves his scout. Never mind.
Oh, God, that sucks for Daniel because that Daniel's gonna lose the scout later on this game. It's happened twice already, so he's gonna, ACCM's gonna be up the scouts here soon. But that's some nice HP. Daniel's opting to lure deer, by the way. He's playing it safe. He's like, the scouting's not working out for me. Let me just sit back here. Fair play to him. He's not gonna be chasing around the scout of ACCM, and he's got the dock in the corner, which is quite standard.
That's a good. You don't have to go that greedy on this map. You have a lot of food income. If the opponent weakens their scout like that, just chase them home. And yeah, I'll keep an eye on that scout. But so the relics are there. I don't think that's a big change in this map. But yeah, we made it so you have to switch into lands a bit more frequently. Not that, 4 Lakes, the ranked version is really bad. But I feel like it'd be late Castle Age and someone switches onto water, and that's cool and all, but at that point, it's more interesting, I think, if the fights are suited towards the middle of the map. And Hidden Cup is a lot about transitions too. Like sometimes you start off with fish and you switch into this, or you start off with deer and shorefish and you switch into farms. So that was the big change. But there's actually a change with the neutral gold Terra, which you might like.
The 2 golds, yeah.
There's 4 2-tile golds, and they're spread out kind of all over the place. So that can lead to more reason to take map control.
Yeah, I think, and there's also some 5-tile stones that I'm seeing scattered as well. 4, but there's 1 5-tile. Is that on purpose, or is that an extra stone?
It should be 5 and 4 per player, and then an extra. Wait a second. There's a sus 5-tile stone in the corner. Who's that for? That's the 2 stone from last game. That's where they're taking it from. Oh, no. Wait. What are the chances that I honestly would have to double check. Neutral stones are not high up on my list of things to remember. But
Yeah.
what if that is, it's supposed to be like a 3 tile and a 2 tile and it's stuck together? I don't know,
But
dude.
there's one, no, no, there's one at the back of ACCM's base. That's another 5 tile stone. Yeah, chat's probably like, dude,
Ah,
cast the
yeah.
game, stop. But yeah, there's some weird action. But speaking of weird and sus, Daniel's villager looking a little sus there, walking to the corner. He wants to dock ACCM's lake potentially.
Interesting. And there's not much ACCM can really do about that with a feudal age scout because the scout's weak now. So
True.
that's going to be a
Yeah.
sneaky vill. ACCM probably didn't spot it. And then ACCM can see that the man-at-arms are going to come forward. And I just checked. It looks like there's probably 2 5-tile stones as neutrals based on what I'm seeing. So
Okay. So that's correct, and that's good for the map. If it lets people, take map control, get some extra resources in. So ACCM does see the men at arms now. The tricky part here is that ACCM, or Daniel, sorry, is planning the second sneak attack with the villager going on the water. She'll get trapped in, but that's a different story. But ACCM might not be thinking of that because he's too busy defending on the front with the men at arms. There's that spear again.
Look at Daniel scouting. It's the first time he saw anything except the dock. He's so scared of the TC. He's fortunate to see the berries right now, but that's the first time he's seen anything of value this entire game. Oh my god.
As soon as I saw him luring deers on cross, I knew this guy does not want to lose his scout. I respect that, Daniel. If you're out there, man, when you watch the VOD later on, he'll be happy to know that his moves have been picked up on as Sim's going across the map. Sorry, go on.
But he could hit the wood line. There's so many open areas on this map. He's not even forcing any quick walls. And so to sit here and just attack the stable, it honestly might not end up being too bad because it has to be repaired. And it is going to go down quickly to Japanese man-at-arms. But probably not what he would have wanted as far as damage output goes.
I think he just assumed his opponent's fully walled. To be honest, I don't hate it because it's better to just do this than look around and hit walls. But I agree that at least from a look around a little bit more perspective, that he should have at least tried another area before calling it quits and attacking the stable. And meanwhile, at home, he's actually taking some damage, loses a villager or two.
Yeah. Lost one vill, but also killed a scout and weakened the others. So, plus he's going to dock. And if you look at ACCM's point of view, ACCM has not scouted that. That is a great way to play this map and very, very sneaky from Daniel. That's going to pay off.
Yeah, ACCM's got a dock on the east side of the map here now coming up. That's gonna be like his own lake though for sure. But the big problem is the 6 fish he's got in his base on his lake, that might be compromised very soon. And the archer transition from ACCM to push away the men-at-arms, I think that's a good choice for him.
Good pokes here. Oh man, yeah, these spearmen have done a real good job. 2 of these scouts are weak now. And I'm with you. He got guaranteed harassment by attacking the stable and forcing repairs at the very least. So it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely not the worst. And he is in a way forcing the archer range as well. So these men-at-arms definitely paid off, but it's not game-ending damage by any means. ACCM does have more mobility now, and we are seeing him take advantage of the mobility, getting docks now on the west side. So he's got a lot of docks coming up. 3 lakes for him, only 1 for Daniel and the sneaky dock. We'll see what he can make of that sneaky dock though.
Daniel, leaving her on the left side of the lumber camp, will finally lose another villager. And this is what mobility does. Actually, lots of idols for Daniel. He's got trying to wall up a lot, and that can lead to villagers walling and then stopping. But I love how he's waiting for 2 fires to reveal in the north. He's going to clear up a lot of fishing ships there.
Yeah, it's important because fire galleys produce slowly. So if you just show up with 1, the second one might not come out in time, and you give your opponent time to react. But 2 can really clear out the fish before any fires from your opponent comes out, and he's gonna go attack. That's a big play. And in the land, he's actually okay. He's clearing up the scouts now, in fact.
Also sending a villager to the right side, but ACCM reacted. I saw ACCM got town watch, and so he can see a lot there. And even bringing his scout over, yeah, he did lose some scouts. You know what's interesting about this? It's almost like if ACCM doesn't switch into some farms soon, he could be in an awkward position. I mean, he is fishing on 3 ponds, but fishing ships will go down in the north. He's going to try and save that area. And Daniel, at least, is switching into some farms, so some land eco for him.
Yeah, Daniel's playing a little bit more. It's not as powerful because obviously fish is faster or is better than farms, but it's less greedy. Now, ACCM might be having a really delayed castle time since he's not getting that land eco at all. So it just depends on whether he keeps his fish alive or not. The stable at 300 HP, we'll keep an eye on that. But Daniel's got some archers. He's choosing to run around with them though.
I think so. He just lost a villager. to the villager from ACCM next to the dock. So he escorted this villager over here to try and dock. That's currently being denied. And yeah, the stable, dude. Okay, probably won't be denied anyways. But I'd like to see the archers, instead of being utilized near the pond for Daniel, I'd like to see them try and sneak forward. It's not like ACCM is really well protected at home.
Yeah, it feels like Daniel's respecting ACCM too much. Like those archers can be hitting multiple areas here and doing a lot of damage. That being said, ACCM does have his own range units back home defending as well. So it really comes down to where Daniel decides to hit. Pretty even game so far, though. I think Daniel the slight edge because he sniped the fish, but the population looks pretty neck and neck, exactly 53 apiece.
Yeah, sick. I mean, 1 apiece is the scoreline. Love to see Daniel send his 4 archers to the right and distract with these 2 archers and the spearman, because that's still open. And now he sees ACCM has come over this way. But maybe being too cautious here, Hera. We'll see. And on the left side, villager getting sniped. Let's see if Daniel can quick wall this, because it's a big moment here. And Daniel's paying attention to the archers. So yeah, nice defense from ACCM. And as he lost fishing ships, he just added more.
Yeah, it's not even a mistake from Daniel to not quick wall that Vil, because he's obviously microing on the front. There's so much going on here, chat. It's just, you can't really say that these little things that we usually see from these caliber of players, if they start to go wrong, it's just because there's so much going on. It's not really because the players are making mistakes, so to speak. So, good awareness from ACCM, and that's very unfortunate for Daniel. But he is kind of now on the back foot on land too, so this might be problematic. Adds a second range though.
This is why I feel Japanese should gain a bit of a lead early, right? With all the early bonuses, you gain that lead. Very important against Huns, because this is where not having to build houses pays off. This is where getting army momentum pays off. Faster producing stables if your stable doesn't die to a spearman, So, you see the product of ACCM's flexibility as Huns, because he lost fishing ships in the north, and he's still level on eco because he was fishing the other ponds at the same time. It's very difficult to do that. That's why Huns are chosen here. It's probably the only civ that can do it to that degree.
Yeah, and it's just easier. You don't have to worry about making houses as well. You never get housed. It's so smooth. Now Daniel's kind of forced to make some skirmishes. He is up to the castle age, but so is ACCM. Pretty much neck and neck there. That's kind of, the main quote of the series so far, that the players are so evenly matched. But ACCM, he's finding some advantages here, in my opinion.
Also in the south, ACCM's dock denied. What a level we're looking at here, Hera. Dude, it's like every pond has been contested in some way. And it's just beautiful to see the defense and offense on both sides. I love to see it.
Hey, dude, like the fact that this is a qualifier is that's nuts, man. Like, the Age of Empires is such a good state right now, where there's so many players. The caliber, the level of play is quite high, and even for qualifiers, we're seeing some insane play here. The players are really, really aware here. Good stuff.
Yeah, and it's really fun with hidden identities, because I feel like if this would be hidden identities right now, there might be many people watching saying, "Oh, I know who that person is," and they might be like, "Yeah, this is a top 8 player," So that's how good the level is. It's just a lot of tiny little moments here or there. Like, people would say doubt after that because of the memes, but yeah, it is really cool to see, and it's cool to see a lot of challenging names too. Daniel, not someone who would have even been in the real running, I think. He would have been honest about this a year ago, but now he is against a player like ACCM.
Yeah, definitely. Something that's worth mentioning, by the way, Daniel sold his stone to click up, and that's something they usually do to click up faster and get an advantage. But in this case, he's actually going to enter Castle Age at the same time. So the big deal is here, he doesn't have the luxury of booming behind this. He's got to make something happen now. Whereas ACCM, he's got the flexibility. He can add a town set if he wants to, or he can just keep the stone in for a bit later on. But he'll be playing some knights to start, but he is going to get the crossbow tech as well. Interesting choice there.
Ooh, okay, big moment here, and a bad moment for Daniel. He did not see the second stable. Second stable would tell him knights. He's thinking this will be a crossbow skirmisher, so he's adding a siege workshop. I'm not saying the siege workshop will necessarily be bad, but it could be very surprising for him in a moment if knight numbers pounce on him, and of course siege not very good against that.
Yeah, he's making some assumptions here, because the reality of it is, from cast's point of view, we see the whole map. The siege workshop isn't actually necessary. Unfortunately for Daniel, he doesn't see the whole map. He's gonna get surprised by the knights. He sees it now. He still commits to the mangonel. We'll see the micro here. Kites back with the skirms.
Yeah, the hill is really saving him there, and because he's prioritizing crossbow numbers, his crossbow numbers just high enough to force the knights away. I think with Japanese, maybe I'm thinking too far ahead, but maybe just send 2 villagers to stone. Just in case you're still in this game doing well, then you have the stone for the TC in a few minutes.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like, especially with the changes on the water with the less fish, we see that bottom pond kind of already running out. You can't survive with pond with just the pond eco. Like you need to add land eco in this version, and doing it with one town center is a little bit sketchy long term here. So I do agree with you that we need to see some stone in some way, shape, or form. He could buy it or he could start mining it. Nothing yet though. He's still commit to crossbow siege.
Yeah, not a great spot for Daniel to be in right now because he's reacting and he's also behind economically. So reacting now when the enemy is even spending time to mass knights means that they're just going to be a run all over you. So to not be able to dictate the pace of the game is going to hurt. I think it was a good move for him to realize he'd be later to Castle Age if he didn't use the market, but that did not mean that he's in a great spot here. He still has to run away from the knights.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get caught here. He might have to delete a palisade. He's kind of choosing to sit in that corner. I do like that for now, but looks like ACCM just wants to go to the bottom side. He's gonna fight it though. That's enough for ACCM. He's got the hill bonus there.
What happens there if Daniel deletes the palisade and runs in to save his units? Is it even worse?
The knights will just run past his units and raid his entire eco. That's a bad move. Just cut your losses. He'll trade for a couple knights and now he'll sit behind his walls. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not looking pretty for him, but you cannot let the knights in at this point. That would be game over.
Yeah, because my instinct was to do exactly what Daniel did, but after seeing the result, I'm like, oh, this seems bad either way.
If he wanted to run in, he'd have to have some monks or be quick to quick wallet behind it because those knights, and they're gonna break in. I mean, it's only delaying the inevitable. The knights will get in. It's gonna be so hard to hold it. He only has 1 TC. He's trying to fast imp, by the way. That's not a good idea.
Oh god, I didn't see his resources. He's not gonna fast imp into 0 military at this point. But honestly, it's all because of ACCM's pressure. And ACCM's on 3 town centers too, which is sick, with 3 pawns.
Yeah, GG's called, and that was a good game. That was a back and forth game. We saw Daniel get the pressure early with the sneaky dock, but then the Huns kind of ACCM kind of put his foot on the gas there and really took over in the mid game. Knights there, crossbows pressure, and he had his famous forward siege as well. Good play there, and squeezes Daniel out of this game too.
Do you think that Ram Maganel thing that's happened 2 out of 3 games now? Do you think that is something that, let's say ACCM wins this series, that he would do in the main event?
Ooh, that is the ACCM special. The Ram first, then Maganel. Keep an eye out. That was a couple games now, yeah?
Yeah.
I do like that, yeah. That's a tell for ACCM. Maybe a small one, and he does like his forward siege, so keep an eye out. He's not the only player that likes the forward siege, but the Ram first is something I've seen a lot from him as well.
And we're going to have to break down specific details during the main event to figure out who's who, but anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. ACCM gets the win, and if this goes anything like game 1 to game 2 did, Daniel will have some type of a response here.
Yeah, and that makes sense. It makes sense that they're trading games in this order because remember we're trading home maps right now. Last Gold Rush was Daniel's home map, Cross was ACCM's home map, and now we're back to Daniel's home map. So we'll see what he's got prepared here, but we have to assume that the players, they're well prepared for the series.
Okay, so let's break down ideal civilizations. Of course, there's a pretty well-established meta. We have an idea of what people might want. I see the next map's going to be Bay. So Daniel kind of going backwards order here with his picks.
Wait, what map?
Bay.
How does that?
No, don't even.
Is that a new map? I've never heard of that one.
I'm going to mute you and cast the rest of the series on my own.
I don't know why it triggers you. I only do it because it triggers you so much. I love it, actually. Look at the chat, dude.
we announced the 5 new maps, and one of them, okay, I'll give it to you, chat. It clearly looks like a Pokeball, so we actually have like a Pokeball emote. But for the other ones, chat was just trying to force it, man. They're calling this one map a duck. It doesn't look like anything like a duck.
Yeah, I did see the new maps. I gotta say, I know what the Pokeball one is, but I don't recall seeing a duck, to be honest. That's where I gotta draw the line, unfortunately.
That's why we have to have nonstop games, because if you give chat a second to try and be creative with anything else, life just...
So eat your life, man. Yeah.
So on Pants, okay, I'll give in. On Pants, which is the upcoming map, In Hidden Cup 3, it was a whole lot of Mongols. And I see Mongols picked fairly early for ACCM. I also don't think that Aztecs, Portuguese, Teutons, or Indians are really great on that map.
Yeah, yeah. The only other option you can say is maybe Portuguese, but honestly, he's definitely gonna play them on islands. So it's gonna be Mongols. That's pretty clear. And then for Daniel, Italians comes to mind, Byzantine comes to mind. Um, yeah, yeah. Italians and Byzantine are the most common there, but
Okay.
we'll see. Byzantines is playable too, but we'll see.
All right. Yeah, game number 4. I know Daniel's been training a lot, and it's interesting to hear because Leary mentioned that Nikov had given some opinions on his Byzantine strategy, and he actually ended up using his Byzantine strategy against Fire. Nikov plays Licks tomorrow, by the way, everyone, to try and get into Hidden Cup. And I think a lot of what strategy might go for in the qualifier, especially, but the main event comes down to who you're training with because everyone's got a different outlook. Like you might really prefer to play a certain way and then you train with somebody and you see whether that does or does not work. Whereas like Tato and Doubt, they might have different preferences on how to approach the game. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who Daniel's training with because I was not expecting Britons here. That's what I'm getting at.
I actually, I don't know if I want to say this now because if he loses, I look bad. But I'll say it anyways. I think I was the one that gave him the idea with Britons. I don't want to explain the entire reasoning, but screw it. I will. It doesn't matter. Hopefully, I don't get caught on this on the main events. But the whole idea is that Britons, you basically give up water. You let Mongols get water early. Then you use the extra range that you have in the Castle Age and the better eco to prevent Mongols from expanding. Because the problem with this map is that Mongols have only one stone and they have only a couple woodlands at the back and like one gold usually. So if you stop them from expanding to the top of the map and you deny their deer, you won't actually let them get to late game composition. And if Mongols can't get to late game composition, they actually completely die to Arbalest. Especially Britain Arbalest with extra range. Because they don't have +4 on skirmishers. So the whole idea is you give up the water early, snipe their fish later, and then gain control with the crossbows. So let's see if it works.
Can everyone say thank God in Twitch chat right now? Because Hera, that's what I envisioned for the map. Honestly, like Mongols is a great pick. It was strong in previous versions of the map, but we had to make so many tweaks. And the thing is, I mean, I could, but it would be rather unfair of me if I were to pull you aside and say, hey, look at this early version of this map that's going to be in a $70,000 tournament. You know, like I didn't want to get pro player input too much because I wanted it to be even and fair. And so I wanted Mongols to be strong, and Mongols have been strong. But we've seen Byzantines and some other civilizations threaten the Mongols on this map if you're able to take the forward control. So I say thank God, because it's very happy that a player of your caliber agrees with that type of a strategy. And I think that it makes Mongols need to gain a big lead early just in case they lose the front of the map.
Yeah, and I've already given away a lot, so I might as well just continue to give away stuff. It doesn't like it's okay. I don't mind. But the idea here is that the fish, because there's only 7 fish, maybe 8 fish. There's actually 8 fish. No, sorry, that's 7 fish. Yeah,
It's 8.
no, it's 8. Okay, sorry. Math is hard. Because there's only 8 fish, the advantage you get from winning water, especially after the Dark Age, where both players are fishing a little bit, it's not a huge advantage. So you get small eco boost, but if you cannot expand, and Britons will catch up to that eco boost with their economy bonus and castles, the cheaper town centers, and then then it's going to be a little bit complicated to be able to end the game or at least secure the map control with Mongols. So that's the whole idea here. We'll see what Daniel, how he's able to perform here. I haven't tested this out, by the way. This is only theory. I never tried Britons here. I just said to Daniel, if you want an idea, this is it. Practice it yourself. So I don't know if he did, but that's that's the theory of it. Let's see if it works out.
I mean, the thought process is not really, and I'm not talking down on your creativity here, but it's not hugely unique to what we've seen, right? I mean, you've got a lot of different strategies. It's just, I think, unique to Britons. And ACCM should not lose his scout here because the TC positions are kind of fixed on this map, so you should know. But we've seen a lot of civs try that. I remember in the Leary MBL show match, Leary actually went for Italians, and he did a similar thing against Mongols where he tried to pressure on the front. And so, yeah, it's cool because you've got pros and cons. And in a civ draft scenario, there's then things you need to accomplish up against a certain matchup. And here goes ACCM with what I'd call the standard meta. Pick Mongols, take advantage of your hunt bonus, go fast feudal to go for docks, and try and win the water.
Yeah, he's up on 18 villagers here, which is, I believe, the fastest you can do it. I'm not sure. He didn't lure a deer, yeah. So he still managed to do it. And it's a very tight build, but you need to go up really fast because you need to ensure that you kill the opponent's fish like as fast as you can. But obviously, Britain's getting the sheep bonus, lets them do 20 villager up, which is quite standard. A lot of civs can do that. So I just want to see how ACCM decides to approach this. Does he do second dock? Yeah, there's the second dock. So we might already be seeing Mongols overcommitted to the water here, and I believe Daniel will see a barracks and an archery range from him soon. And like you said, it's not a unique idea in terms of concept for sure. Like we've seen the Byzantines was very popular, the forward or the Byzantine pressure, keeping the Mongols from expanding. And it's the same idea with Britain's, just a different way to do it, pretty much. So
yep,
it has been proven to work.
I think the key is really how you set up your eco. And I'm looking at Daniel, and for the most part, this looks like what ACCM is trying to do, which is like full-on win water. And so I have a real problem with that because, and I'm again, having not practiced this too much myself, I think I've only played like 5 games on this map. But there he goes. He's shifting back on the sheep now. If he loses his fishing ships, and that's all the food he's relying on, he's going to need to have something. So an earlier mill, and then leading to, oh, he already has the barracks. Yeah, okay, a range opening. This is what I like to see. Like, think about what's going to happen in the next couple seconds if you lose water.
Yeah, exactly. So archery range is down. He didn't lose his scout as well because the Mongol scout was a bit weak since ACM took some damage. So Daniel's still alive with his scout. He'll be fine. He's actually going to go with a couple galleys now, and that's going to help him snipe the fish of ACCM. So the idea is they trade fish, and then you don't care about the water after the first fishers are off of it. And now we're already seeing the range from Daniel. So pretty standard, but ACCM now full walling his base, except that tiny little crack through the dock there.
Yeah, that's true. We can't really see it, I guess, because of the position we're at, but there's actually a tile gap here. So we made it so it's more difficult to just wall to the water, like is the case on other maps. But, I mean, ACCM could always threaten if he's got water control if the archers come over. Interesting that ACCM is also taking the hunt. A Mongol hunt bonus paying off even more. And that's also something Daniel has scouted. So he scouted the area, and he could just see the deer are dead there. So that's a kind of a risk here for ACCM. And he should probably realize that Daniel's only on one dock, and he should be careful about that.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, I clicked the tech tree button by accident. That's on my end. Yeah, I think he should be going as fast as possible with 2 archers. In fact, he is doing that perfect. Might even consider a spear, but I know the food income's tight, so that's okay. A couple archers though, and really deny that hunt. In fact, I'd actually say it's a bit greedy for ACCM to be on that hunt. I respect it. Greed is sometimes a good thing. But if he loses some villagers here, it might actually come back to bite him in the ass here.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of players, because the stage is so big, not take a lot of risk, right? I think it almost makes more sense for Daniel to take the hunt, because he knows the Mongol player would open up with 2 docks, and that he's going to have the military control. It makes more sense for Daniel to take hunt right now than ACCM.
That's a good point, and you don't usually think about that because, like, you're not Mongol, you don't gather it fast, but hunt is still a good source of food. It's a good option. It's just an additional risk, and it's an additional cost to the mill as well. It's not a bad idea though. I definitely give you some credit there. It's not too bad. Speaking of hunt though, ACCM, those vills are in trouble. Like those vills are in trouble.
They did prep a range. He's got a skirm back there. Daniel could pounce on that with the scout though, and good decision here from Daniel. Maybe we'll just get a villager. Oh, tell me you get a villager for this. Oh, that's unfortunate. You're kidding. Oh, he does get it. Okay, never mind. That's probably worth it for 2 archers. And then he also takes the Mongol player off the hunt, and he's out of here.
Yeah, nice snipe there from him. I want to see him really commit to this. He's trying to win water. He's trying to make fire galleys. That's a big mistake. What he should do is just demo the fish or galley the fish. But I don't know why he's making fire galleys now, like he wants to contest water.
Is it a mistake, though? Because I think ACCM is not contesting water anymore. And based on what Daniel sees, he could honestly win this and clear out the fishing ships at the same time. I guess it depends, but yeah, I think what you would probably do is just, macro at home and go up to Castle Age for archers.
Yeah, I think like once you clear the fishing ships, you don't actually care to win water. It doesn't do anything. And plus, if your idea is to win water to like do a landing, well, ACM's already walled that out, and he can just re-win it with the 2 docks. So It doesn't really make sense to win back water, unfortunately. It just makes sense to snipe fishing ship. Well, we'll see. He's gonna go for it here, but like, I don't know. That's kind of maybe overinvestment there.
Okay. Yep. Well, maybe just wasn't part of the initial game plan, but just felt like it might be an option. And Galleys, pretty good at sniping fishing ships. And he's also repairing his fire galleys here, Daniel. So at least if this is the goal, is not doing too bad. And I'm looking at his eco management, his farms, his berries, everything. It's looking pretty clean for Daniel to go up to a solid castle age.
Yeah, and so now another idea to consider is that ACCM thought he'll have those fishers like as part of his eco to get up to castle age. All of a sudden they're off the map. They're obviously dead, and now he needs to adapt with more farmers. Whereas Daniel, he's got the farms for a long time now. So yes, less food income for up to this point probably, but at this point he's got a much cleaner economy, and we'll probably see a faster castle time from him, and that's where Britain's take over. So it's looking pretty good for Daniel, I would say here, despite despite maybe a little bit over investing into the water.
Yeah, honestly, pretty sick. I mean, you've got 6 of the 8 fish out there. Now, granted, I don't want to count every single salmon to see how much is left, but if he wanted to at some point, well, I don't think it should be high priority. He could honestly go for it himself, and ACCM really, he's honestly doing a correct move to probably stay on hunt so he can catch up, but I think he was really surprised by the Britons pick and just by the giving up of water, because in a lot of training games, what you're probably seeing is 2 players contest for water. And more we've seen in the qualifier, that is not necessarily the play on this map. The land focus is the most important.
Yeah, definitely. I think water is a bit. It's not bad. It's not to say that the water approach will never work, but there's definitely 2 sides to the coin. Like both approaches can work, and it just really depends on how it's played out. But I do feel like ACCM maybe got a little too confident on the water. He didn't continue investing, make sure the dock dies, and ended up losing his fish for it. And now Daniel, he's up to castle age very soon. Just
Dude,
needs the gold.
This, like, I get so excited when I see, like, again, I talked about this already, but I'm sorry. I wanted this for the map. I want water to be an option, but I don't want it to be the game-winning option. And I want hunt to be an option, but I don't want this to be a game-winning option. I want Mongols to be a strong pick, but not necessarily the best strong pick. So, like, I'm loving life right now. I feel like all the hard work behind the scenes of testing and practicing and scheming with paint has really paid off a little bit. So, yeah, paint. I use paint all the time, man. I actually drew all the new maps in paint except for, like, one of them.
Oh God, dude! You think with a 60K tournament, the budget's a little bit bigger than paint, but okay. All right, I see you. ACCM, gonna hit the wood line. Okay. Didn't draw that in your paint dice sketch, I guess.
Well, I was actually gonna ask you. It's a little late to compare, I guess. But if you had to choose the bases and the layout, which one would you choose between ACCM and Daniel? Forgetting civs, which one would you choose?
Daniel, back berries, back gold, 100%.
Okay. I guess forward berries, back gold. Yeah, I say that because it looks like Daniel can wall up easier, but it can be super awkward if you're not ahead with those stone and gold positions later on, and the wood too.
Yeah, but look at ACCM stone. It's not even his, dude. It's so far away. Like he's gonna have to only get that in castle age. He doesn't really have the option to take it earlier, and even that might be contested in castle age. And Daniel's going forward. I like that he's going forward and wasting no time, because Britons get the extra range right away. So now Daniel can't lose fights with his archers. His archers are simply much better than ACCM's with no upgrades coming in. There's the fight. Yeah, look at that. Already getting some value.
Yeah, great reaction, great pickoff. ACCM may be thinking he's close enough to dive here, but the micro from Daniel superior so far. I don't think this is worth it for ACCM. I would back away and split micro and just try and buy some time, which I guess he has accomplished, but he's Mongols going up against Britons with ranged units, and that is normally a losing battle.
Boy, Britain's pick kind of shining now. I'll take some credit for that. Okay, feels good. Good. Another cheap boom back home as well as Daniel behind the 2 ranges as well. He's able to get 2 TCs down as well, so he's looking in a very comfortable position. And if you look at water, ACCM 1 water. Can we get a clap? Maybe give him a cookie, T90, because he's not getting any fish. Maybe scammed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have any cookies. Casters don't get to eat, but that's fine. That's actually not true. I just don't eat for all day, and then I just like eat a ton afterwards. It's very unhealthy. But
the after long stream feast is the best. Actually, I know you're looking forward to that.
Well, Hera, I'm liking the play from Daniel, who showed some nerves at some stages in this set. But this could be another decider that goes to 7 games if this continues like this, because Daniel's on 3 TCs at home. He's got the crossbows running forward, and at the very least, he's got massive control right now. ACCM forced into a tower. That means no second town center. He doesn't have fishing ships on water. He's not booming at all. Good players, and Daniel's one of them, should easily snowball this one into a win.
Dude, I would resign before I make the tower, by the way. Making a tower when you have forward stone and it's already castellated like that, that is so bad for Zico. Because right now, he needs to get a mining camp or he needs to build a market and actually buy stone to get any town centers. And he can never win on 1 TC. There's nothing Mongols can do with 1 TC. So, like, that tower is such a bad thing for ACCM. And the score looks close, but that's water score. Daniel, he's up 10 vills with full control of the land.
It's interesting. Like, I guess in theory that keeps him alive a bit longer, and the thought process is don't die, don't die, don't die. But in the process of building the tower, it puts you even further behind. And so you might delay the inevitable, but if the goal is to win the game, which I can tell you it is, then it might end up hurting him. But it also could be instinctual. Like, sometimes the game's going so fast, you've got so much going on water, like the 2 fire galleys, you have to do something. So Siege Workshop denied in the middle, though, and that a little sloppy from Daniel.
Yeah, that's not bad for ACCM, and that's a good point. Like, it's an instinct to drop the tower, but unfortunately, like, if you recognize you're behind, you have to take risk, and that's one he should have taken. Daniel going for defensive siege, he just needs something to counter the skirmishers. So just get a siege drop anywhere. Just stop getting it denied here is the main theme. But yeah, just camping at home with Britain crossbows should be super safe, especially with the mega knowledge here.
Yeah, maybe it deletes that. What the? Okay.
Oh my God, make it off the map.
Yeah, 3 workshops now. I mean, the other one's there for later. It's like leftovers in the fridge, and
yeah.
ballistics too. So I mean, for now he's able to hit from distance, which is huge. And then even 1 Mangonel, I think, and ACCM will have to back away. 66 villagers versus 48. But I'm seeing an awful lot of red on the map right now, and so it's all converging towards the blue. So while Daniel's got the lead, I think he just needs to be careful about sitting back too much.
Yeah, basically right now, you just have to wait till you get ballistics and 1 Mangonel, and then you can push forward and you never stop, because unfortunately ACCM can't do anything against Britain crossbows right now and Mangonel combo, because if you do your own Mangonels, the crossbow from Britain's can snipe that. So Daniel has to be patient to get that combination, and he's actually going for that right now. So once you Mangonel, and there's no stopping him from pushing forward anymore. So that's really smart for him.
Yep.
He's played this well so far.
Now, mobility will at some point be a factor here. Like, if this goes late, at that point, Mongols have the Hussars, which I know you love, the Mangadai, and the Siege, and it's all very fast. Britons do not thrive on speed. They thrive on snowballing. So as he comes forward to finish the Siege Workshop in the middle, ACCM's essentially just trying to stall this game out. It is going to be tough, though. It's not like Daniel's made any big macro mistakes. He's not spending a lot of food, so you'd think that eventually he'll save up food to go Imp. I think that this would honestly come down to getting big Mangonel shots, and if you're able to take out the enemy Mangonel, maybe dive on the crossbows with your skirms.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of active defense here, because he's behind 30 vills. He can't, like, give up ground. Good patrol. He's gonna snipe a couple. Does he have ballistics? I don't think so.
No.
ACM has the electricity. No ballistics, eh? Oof. He needs that. He needs that.
Yeah. Daniel, a position, I mean, I would never find myself 30 villagers ahead of ACCM, but if I was in this position, sometimes I feel the need to do a lot of damage still and, like, capitalize and push, and occasionally there can be micro mistakes, and there's a moment there for Daniel, not the end of the world, but he's just got to be really cautious to conserve his numbers. He can always make more Mangonels, but the crossbowmen need to stay alive.
Yeah, exactly, because crossbowmen, if you have... Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. I like the energy, though, the delete energy. That's good stuff.
Bro!
I like this.
This is your fault, man. This is your fault. You shouldn't be deleting Mangonels, man.
That was a good move. It might not make sense. He only traded versus 1 move versus 1 skirm, but that's a good move. I like that's the energy that wins you tournaments. That gets you second place in tournaments. That gets you to the qualifier at least, or past the qualifier.
There you go.
We just need a bit more of that, you know?
There we go. Setting realistic goals here while Scorpion goes down. Oh, man. And Daniel's just backing away. You know what?
Yeah.
Having 2 workshops is huge now, because if he was only using the one in the middle, this would have been a lot more awkward. Now he's got another Mangonel waiting.
And dude, he can like pincer the mangonels. It's getting flexible here, and he is making his way to imp. I will say though, losing those couple mangonels there for him, lost the momentum. Now he doesn't have the push. And remember what we said, ACM buying time? He's getting it, sort of. You know, he just needs more of this, more of the same from ACCM.
Yeah, I would say you continue to try and get engagements. You then start castling throughout the middle of the map to try and stall out the game. The Britons do not get bombard cannons, so they can't push with that. But Daniel, even foreseeing the future, he knows I'll need a castle, I'll need trebs, and he's just transferred a lot more to stone. Big shot. Ooh, that was decent actually, considering Britain range.
Yeah, I swear Daniel plays way better than this, by the way. Rated to game Daniel would out micro with the crossbows, never trade 1-for-1 with the mangonels like that because you have the extra range. It does feel like there's a little bit of jitters, if I'm being real. But nonetheless, I feel like he's doing enough. He's up to imp. He'll play it safe. Notice how he went back there with the crossbows. That signifies to ACCM that Daniel's up to imp because there's no reason to go that far behind or that far back if you don't want to save those for imp.
Oh boy, are you ready to see some skirmishers get flattened, Tara? Because this could happen big time. ACCM, where you going, bro? Right between the ranges. Oh
okay.
God!
Okay.
Look how weak they are.
ACM goes the other way. He doesn't want anything to do with that mangonel. Okay.
What a helpless feeling. He's just gonna try and kill Vils, but these are all doomed. Oh, right between the mining camp and the wood line.
No.
Okay, I mean,
Daniel,
he's doing a good job. Daniel needs to kill this. Come on.
That was so anti. Okay.
Wow.
I feel like I'm in a kid. Like, yeah.
Way to ruin a good thing, Daniel. You know that could have been an ACCM way to micro. Man, what a. I was just waiting for one big shot to flatten all of those, and unfortunately, for Daniel, anyways, it didn't happen in time because look at ACCM. Castle's up. He will have a second castle soon. I think Elite Mangadai is still a little tough for him to justify, but because he had Daniel off of stone, Daniel doesn't have a castle yet to make trebs, Hera.
Yeah, so the weird thing is, we're seeing rams from Daniel. That's like really weird, and you never really want to do rams just Mongols because they have Mangadai as a potential from their castles, and they also have some Mangonels on the field now. So, unfortunately, the rams won't be the right call for him. He needs to find a way to get a castle or go the other way and ignore that castle from ACCM for now. He's doing that right now, and there's the castle. Beautiful stuff. We'll see what he can do with the Britain power spike, though. Extra range on the crossbows, of course, soon to be R-blessed.
Yeah. Feel like you and I both know that Daniel could have executed a little bit more, but this is a big moment. And big moment, he doesn't want to make any massive mistakes on the biggest stage. I think that you could even argue that this is actually Daniel's biggest stage in an event because up against ACCM, and while I guess Red Bull main event would actually be the answer to that, but it wasn't standard settings, right, where he really excels. So
yeah.
2 castles to push down now. I've had this feeling that it's going to be impossible for ACCM to stall the game out and hold, but the reality is he's not dead yet. He's got castles, and Daniel is looping around just now to do some damage with orbs.
I get this feeling sometimes as a player where, and it's easier said than done when watching the game. I'll be the first to say that, but I feel like Daniel's like really giving. It's not cutthroat enough. You know, he's giving ACCM the time, and now he's going all the way around. The trebs are a little bit late. The cap ram is a bit of a sketchy decision in my opinion, and I get this feeling now watching this. Like I wish he would just do more. You know, I want to see a little bit more coming from him since he has such a good position in this game.
I would honestly prefer to see players in these positions make commitments and fail than be hesitant and set yourself back a little bit. You know, I feel like you're going to learn more lessons if you're making a decision towards like one thing in particular than trying to slow down a little bit. But you know, he is, at the end of the day, like, he's ahead right now. He might be behind in the series, but he's pressuring a town center and a gold with crazy amounts of Britain Arbs. And he's got trebs hitting this castle. So I think in his eyes, I mean, Light Cav's a little weird to me, but maybe he wants to use Light Cav against any skirms. Maybe he wants to use Light Cav against any trebuchets, and that is exactly what ACCM is currently committing towards.
Actually, the cool thing about Britons is that you don't actually need, in this matchup rather, you don't really need Light Cav versus the Elite Skirm, because Mongols don't get the last armor, so they're actually quite weak to R-bless with long range.
Yep.
But the Light Cav is not a bad addition because you can snipe siege like trebs and such, so it's still not too bad. I do like it. He's not coming back with his army. He wants to focus on one area, which is Britain's strength. There's an exposed trap from ACCM. He'll take it.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, and the skirms get hit as well here? Oh, okay. Well, Treb goes down. I mean, that's worth it. And again, as you said, as there's a nice split for ACCM, Mongol skirms, if you're going skirms with Mongols, that is a sign that that things are going very wrong for you
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you can't get in close enough, and the armor, as you've just stated, is just an important thing for skirmishers. And this is not just with Mongols. There's a lot of civs that lack the defense upgrade, and
Yeah.
some might even argue that it's better to have the final defense upgrade than a final attack upgrade with skirmishers.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing because that last defense gives 2 pierce armor, so it's not just like that one attack. So it is very important. Now we'll see it. Like, look at the Arbalest. Skirmishers, they counter Arbalest on paper. The tech tree told me that. I checked it in NAC3 finals, but we're seeing Arbalest actually coming out on top. So there's a numbers disadvantage, but also the skirmishers just don't have that last armor. That's a huge deal. Lightcap coming in. This is Britain composition. ACCM at 135 pop. He's not coming back here. There's no way, right?
Warwolf, baby. Warwolf, that's
Okay.
actually the name of a hero in the Hidden Cup
Okay.
4 main event. And what if Daniel wins the best of 7 and actually is Warwolf in the main event? No, I'm sorry. I'm just
That's
getting too crazy.
yeah. That's like some out of this world hype casting. I respect the energy though. That's some good stuff. But yeah, the werewolf obviously 100% accuracy. Look at that. Nothing but net there on those guys.
Still loses his
Beautiful.
castle, which is a shame. But he already got Warwolf, so he even needs a castle. So it doesn't matter. He's got trebuchets. Should have enough to camp the trebuchets. And that KD really says the whole story here. Daniel, I think, made the proper decisions to take map control as opposed to prioritizing water. Still, probably one of the first times that I've seen a game end here without all of the salmon being collected. That's crazy.
Yeah. GG.
GG. Yeah, ACCM calls it. And maybe that's something that ACCM could have done, actually. He did take out that dock. Like, sprinkling 5 or 6 fishing ships out there would have helped a little bit. But telling you got to take map control on Bay. You start in the corner. You have to expand around the map. There's been some games in the past, mainly in the main event of Hidden Cup 3, and I'm sure we'll see them go later here. But we're expanding onto the other regions of the map for relics, stones, and gold. It's become very important. Daniel, it looks like his conversations with you and his practice games with others have paid off. The score is 2-2. And didn't you say, you said 4-3 or 4-2, Daniel?
4-2 Daniel. Yeah, 4-2
right.
Daniel is my prediction.
Okay.
And dude, I mean, I'd stick with it now. Like, it could be 4-3. Like, you know, it's so close, man. It's looking like a 4-3 set. All the sets so far, or a lot of them have went to like long games in the deciders, but you know, this is one that can go all 7. I think this is really close.
Yeah, every single best of 7. Oh, no, that's not true, actually. You know what? I'll save that. We'll bring that up at another time. But look to the stats for that game. Thank God Daniel was really far ahead there, right? Because it was he was a little hesitant, but 2-1 KD, more of every resource except stone, and of course ACCM's castles were going to crumble to the ground. So, not sure. Like, here's what's weird about this, Hera. It's not just the fact that Mongols were picked, but in a draft scenario, if you look at when it was picked, he picked it really early. So he valued Mongols on that map so much more than, like, he valued Mongols on that map where Daniel valued Japanese on Cross, and Cross is, like, Japanese is probably top 3 on that map. But Mongols have lost to Byzantines. They've been losing to Britons. I don't know if that civilization is necessarily as good as people thought in the past.
Or maybe people are playing it wrong.
Ooh.
But we don't know yet. We'll find out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
So,
gotta stay tuned to find out in the main. There you go.
Main event March, whenever it is going to be casted.
I actually,
but yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, 3rd pick Mongols and losing, that's pretty bad.
yeah. So ACCM picked Cross for his first home map. Now we'll force to go to a second one. Looks to me like he's gonna go islands, and we'll launch in here in a second. I just gotta say thank you, Lawler the Legend, who, it's already said in the name, is a legend and is continuing to support the stream today, and B-Dot for supporting the stream. Now, this is really weird situation because these two money bags, they're basically just like competing with each other currently to the point where one has gifted one more sub than the other. So I'm not going to get in the middle of that. Actually, who am I kidding? I'm essentially in the middle of that. But yeah, thank you for putting me in the middle of your sub war, and thanks for supporting the stream today and the tournament. And Hera, let's hop into game 5. You probably won't tell me, but I really want you to tell me what you think of how the civilizations on water and how it shapes up. All right.
I actually don't even know. Like, I see the civilizations now. I don't want to spoil. I'm gonna wait till you guys get in the game.
We're in, yeah.
Yeah, it's Italians versus Portuguese. I'm gonna be honestly, I don't know what's better. I think they've traded games throughout. I think Portuguese are cancer though. Feitior sucks, man. I hate that shit. It's so annoying to play against. Caravels as well can be kind of annoying. So I think it's weird, but Portuguese are like the more annoying stuff. But I actually don't know what's better. I'm being honest.
So my opinion, and I'm not saying Fetorias are bad, but I think we have seen clear examples of people overvaluing Fetorias and overvaluing Caravels slightly. So it's a bit like anything where you need to ease into a transition, much like Daniel did in the previous game economically. Because if you start to, like, so Portuguese, the two things that probably, well, the one thing that probably makes them controversial is that they can build a building, 250 stone, 250 gold. It gives you long-term trickle of resources. But you know how important pop is, and you know how important taking the map is. And if you just make two of those things, and the enemy then has 40 more military, they can kill you off with that. And I don't know how much people have been watching games, but it almost feels like as the rounds have progressed, we've seen Portuguese get found out more and more, where they can't just sit back and make Vitorias, because players saw Zupi, for example, who, Hera, did you see that game?
Oh, I saw bits and pieces of it.
He had 90 on water against 40 on water, and he never made cannon galleons or even transported trebs.
I feel that. I've been there before, actually.
Yeah, so actually, I recall a situation with you anyways in a rated game. But the point is it's really interesting strategically, because you can't just automatically win with a Fitoria, and you can't just automatically win with the Caravels if you get there. And in this matchup, Caravels are possibly not even going to be seen, because Caravels are great against galleys, and at least in early Imperial, Italians tend to go for those fast fire ships. So, but yeah, that's just Civ's hair. What do you think about dock positions, galley opening versus fire galley opening, all that good stuff?
I feel like I'm the wrong person to be co-casting, bro. Listen, I know nothing about islands. You know how I play islands? Forward dock and send it. You know what I mean? Like, send it. Just set everything forward. You just don't move back. You never go back. You just everything forward, and you just hope to out micro. You know, you go back to repair maybe once in a while. But I honestly, like, I'm not just saying this to be funny or hide strategies. I don't understand island strategy to the degree that I probably should as a player. So I'm going to just refrain from bro sciencing it and acting like I know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure. I usually go front dock, but I know Italian back dock is quite strong. Tattle loves to do it. That's my opinion. I don't know. What have you seen, actually? That's a better question. From the strategies in the back dock. Has it been successful in the tournament?
You know, saying you don't know what to do on islands sounds an awful lot like someone who did know what to do on islands would say. You were a little quick. You were a little quick to suddenly be like, I got second place in Hidden Cup 3. I don't know anything about this. I don't know about that, bro.
Have you ever seen me backtalk on islands? Literally, present me with a backtalk. Anyone, this is an open challenge. Present me with a Hera game where I backtalk FC on islands. I will literally give 50 subs to the stream right now. Just present. T90, can you think of one?
No, because you ban like a sane person in ranked games. I will admit you ban islands. All right.
And every time it comes up in tournament, I'm front dock sending it. As I said, I don't understand strategy.
All right. All right. Well, I mean, I guess it's good that there's 12 maps in the main event map pool and there's only one islands. I think, like, if you were to really wrong me in some way, the next big tournament is just like Masters of Islands 2. Just like, he's like, okay, Hera, you want to talk smack more? I'm just going to host island events.
There's no fish on the front of the island. I forced a back dock. You know, it's a disaster.
Okay, so anyways, to answer your question, so prior to even seeing the qualifier, I really had this feeling that let's talk main event players who are probably good on islands, like Viper, Dogal, and maybe more, but those two, I think we're going to see a lot of galleys, dude. Like, front dock send it is, by the time you arrive to the enemy, if they go back or side dock, good players are probably going to have fletching and a few galleys to be able to defend from that. And an approach that was really interesting in Hidden Cup 3, actually, was in the semifinals, and Viper got absolutely stomped in that game, was kind of like side backish dock. I know you can't see where I'm looking, but kind of left side of Daniel's base position. and
Yeah.
adding 2 or 3 additional fishing ships and just kind of camping it out. By the time anything arrived, he had enough to protect the fishing ships, and then he was in Castle Age faster, and then he snowballed. But you know what? Licks and ACCM and others have tried transporting, and here comes ACCM. No way.
Oh, this is now I'm on the edge of my seat. Islands. It's some people love water, some people don't. But landings, I hate playing it, but I love watching it. Let's go, ACCM. Show me what you got. I'm down. 1 scout, 2 villagers.
Yo.
And Dano's walling. Wait, what?
What the? Daniel, what type of hacks do you have? You know what? I feel like, so Daniel and I, in 2v2 World Cup, we're talking about islands and whatnot. And like, we pretty much felt like there's no way to play islands but land. And so is he expecting this maybe? I mean, he's gone back dock. It's not like he's walled excessively. And we'll see. Now he sees the enemies in feudal age. He's got a scout around here. We'll see if he spots this.
A stable. That's an interesting choice, and I kind of like it. Like it's weird, and there's actually no loom on Daniel, but he's gonna get it right away, so it shouldn't play too big a role. But he's gonna scout it. Nice. Nice for Daniel. He scouts the landing, and it's not like it's unfortunate for ACCM. I'm sure if he's practiced this, he's aware that it could get scouted, and he's preparing some fire galleys behind it. So he's gonna try some scouts plus fire galleys, and it looks like Daniel wants to fast castle this one. What do you think about that decision? It looks pretty good to me.
He can get walls. If he can continue his walls, it's good. And it kind of like, remember the Gold Rush game where ACCM made it to Castle Age a bit faster, but it was kind of iffy to get there? I feel like these are the situations that come from that. Because you're trying to use all your res to go castle, and then suddenly the aggression gets tough. You don't have resources floating, and if you get to Castle Age, you might not have the resources to commit. Wow, Daniel, defending. I expect that, or it seems like he expected this type of landing, and he really should just go for a counter tower here, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he can't afford it wood-wise, but it seems like he doesn't want to. Wait, he doesn't want to go for the counter tower, but that defends a woodline and a gold. Yeah,
now
he should.
Does.
Yeah.
He didn't have the wood, dude. I mean, I guess that's an example. It's not like you use wood to go up to the next stage, but you need wood for the buildings. So that tower goes up. That's annoying because he has to shoot that down now.
Yeah, I think so. And basically, the big problem here is that the scouts from ACCM. Okay, never mind. But like the scouts can make it so if they break into the wall, Daniel can never take out ACM's tower with villagers. So he's gotta have to just stall out the tower war. But that makes it so he cannot take gold now, unfortunately for him. And well, ACCM, he's got some scouts on the land of Daniel. We'll see what that brings. But so far, it's decent for Daniel.
Okay, what's the benefit of fighting for water control, Hera? Fish. Okay.
Yeah.
Main
one.
Enemy is landing you. Daniel has 2 fire galleys. Daniel has not killed any fish. So that's fine, if you ask me, for ACCM. And then on the flip side, ACCM's not fighting for water control, as we see a stable for Daniel. And Daniel did not add additional fishing ships. So he has no real reward here. And ACCM's eco, kind of similar to what we saw in the previous game, is actually pretty good. He's getting wheelbarrows, getting farms. I mean, all things considered, I think I'd prefer to have villagers on the enemy island than to just be sitting at home, not understanding what to do,
Yeah, that's not a bad assessment of things, because Islands is a weird map because like the small leads that forwarding in Arabia, for example, you ruin your eco a little bit, and it's you get punished, you get counterattacked, but there's no counterattack that's really going to come ACCM's way. So even if he's slightly behind to the Castle Age, he doesn't have to deal with knights, for example, on his economy. So he's got some builds now on the opponent's island, but at the same time, Daniel has the fire ships.
Yeah,
he might snipe ACCM's fish, so that's the only counterattack that could come in. I think ACM's in a better position, though. I have to agree with that.
If there's a transport or more fishing ships that comes out here for Daniel, I suddenly start to like it, because he could transport a knight over, but I think ACCM is expecting that with the walls. So, back to what we were talking about with the islands meta, I just loving the diversity, man. You don't necessarily need to go for full-on send it anymore. We've seen landings work. So
the landing isn't super popular, but I can't even tell if it's just the land players. Like Licks and ACCM landing doesn't tell you anything about the landing meta. That's like Licks landing is just his meta. Like that's just how
it's like when you see Viper landing, which you guys won't ever see it unless it's him in the main event. Then or any dominant water player. I mean, then again, Jordan did go for landing too. I really like the landing, because sometimes look at the investment here for Daniel. He has had to make 4 buildings, and now he's gained 2 knights from it, and still hasn't killed fishing ships. If you can get the build down, would really like to see landing into second dock feudal age fires, because Daniel would have been completely overwhelmed by that. But it's so tough, and it's like you don't. It's also so risky on islands because you don't know where their docks are. ACCM still has his fishing ships, and just now Daniel's gonna find him.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, ACCM losing these fishing ships doesn't really matter too much because he's taking inefficient fish anyway. He'll probably run them to another dock, which is smart. Daniel does want to do the landing idea that you talked about with the knights. Yeah, he's got like a couple knights going.
Oh
No, that was not seen. That was not seen. Like, he saw it, but he didn't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think ACCM was watching that.
Just passing, man. Just passing.
Yeah,
Blue coffee
it
style.
happens.
You know what I would really like to see, and this is spoilers, but it did happen in the previous set. Send 2 vills with that. If the knights are walled out, you can't do anything. But if you can have villagers there to build stuff,
Siege, yeah.
it's a completely different game then. And so I don't think ACCM will be overly worried by just the knights, simply due to the fact that he prepped for it. But then again, his blacksmith could be denied.
Yeah, that's annoying more than anything. He's gonna imagine quick walls it now. He'll lose one. This will let him know there's knights on his island. He'll probably react in some way. I expect just monastery. He's fully walled already. Which, by the way, that's so smart that he's fully walled already. Credit to him for that. Like, he's playing it safe. You can tell he's actually put thought into the strategy. He's not just winging it. He walled at home to prevent this knight counterattack from doing anything. And he'll probably just get some monks to defend it. What's the next step? More landing or transition to water here for both players?
I think you transition water and keep asking questions of Daniel. Well, if you're ACCM anyways, I think you win water. Oh, God. You're kidding me. The knights are actually going to get in. What a mistake.
Wait, oh, that palisade. It has no armor when it's not fully built, and ACCM did not react at all.
No.
Oh, no. That's so bad for him.
That's an easy double house wall there, too, here. Like, as a caster, I'd be confident in my ability in that moment. And now, suddenly, things are looking up for Daniel. And I guess what I was about to say for ACCM is the key is you keep your vills in the enemy island, try and win water, and then, you know, maybe turn that into some type of a monk siege push. But he needs defensive monastery now. And even that, you've got 3 knights, villagers have died. And this comes down to how high the level is and how you need to avoid mistakes. And both players have had their share throughout the series. It's just how it goes. Daniel probably letting out a sigh of relief after breaking through, though.
Yeah, that's like, yes, I'm in, you know? That's a really good feeling because you're not really supposed to get in there. It's kind of a glitch in the matrix there. ACCM making kind of a sloppy mistake, but there's so much going on. And by the way, Daniel played so well. We didn't comment on it, but at his land, he cleared the tower and didn't let the knights from ACCM accomplish anything yet. So yeah, very nice play from Daniel so far. Yeah, it's been really good. And he's now expanding and rewalling.
Oh my God. Look at that. ACCM, you don't want to lose that villager. If you lose the villager, you're behind on both counts. She's going to die. She's dead. What a moment. What a moment. He actually got the palisade down too, but sometimes you can get those hits in, and now there's no real threat of a landing working out. And Daniel, if he pays attention to the dock, which it looks like he is, could just shift his focus back to water, I guess.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, what are the chances ACM's going to be able to land a second time here? The thing is, Daniel doesn't know that there's no more villas from ACCM.
Oh my God, the micro from Daniel. Look at that. He microed. Oh, that's so unfortunate, honestly, that he ended up getting that knight converted. But he could realize which knight was being converted because he's just very attentive. There's no real way in game like in Capture Age. And I actually feel bad for him there because that was sick micro, and then he ends up just donating a knight to the enemy and losing everything else.
Yeah, ends up snagging a monk, though. He'll take that. As far as bill count goes, by the way, and this is worker count, we are seeing Daniel up 10. 10 workers, a couple fish in that as well. But he's only on 1 TC still, so it's 1 TC for both players. The game, I think, is pretty neck and neck. Remember that Portuguese do get some, some can argue a better late game if they can get to those caravels or Fitzioras. So this game is up in the air so far, and we'll see the next step here. Yeah,
and he can't make a town center to boom with villagers. Wheelbarrow was already in. Like, good land economic upgrades for ACCM. But yeah, I think the key here for Daniel's got to be prioritizing water, and that might mean economy first. But Portuguese are very dangerous in the long term. I think that having the cheaper Imperial though does tend to give Japanese a slight edge based on what I'm seeing here. But I don't know, Harry. It's really hard to call. Like, this is not an Islands game. We've seen a lot of Islands so far. We have not seen an Islands game pan out like this yet.
Yeah, I agree. And Japanese do get the edge there in early imp, as you said. Yeah, like Japanese.
Did I say it? Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. I mean, you know, that can sometimes be the case, but I meant to say Italian. Sorry, Japanese, Italians. You know, it's the same part of the world, right? Geography.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's not me if I'm not breaking your balls on that. It's not me, Cocast. So,
Hey man, next lever. All right, next lever stuff. So good demo there from
you go.
ACCM, who could honestly, he probably should save that dock.
Yeah. So the thing is, the problem here is that if he loses the dock, it's his only dock, so he has to get back on the water now. He's gonna need a castle to. Oh, he got a conversion here.
Oh my
He's gonna need a
goodness.
castle. Oh wait, he's gonna save the dock though. That's sloppy from Daniel. Good play from ACCM though. Yeah, not bad.
That's what full send does. He's just like, you know what, I'm gonna patrol, hope for the best, because water micro's annoying, and boom.
Exactly, dude. Like, never go back. Always forward. But now Daniel with his back docks here, he's slow to reinforce, and nonetheless reinforcing. I don't like that he's mixing in fish. I think at this point, it doesn't matter with fish. Just get control. Maybe even mix a few war galleys and prevent your opponent from redocking. Big demo. Big
My dude, that was 4 direct hits right there. Yeah, and we have redocks from ACCM, but I could agree. Like, maybe the fishing ships could have come out 5 minutes ago. Now I think he prioritized the Navy. I mean, he's doing both, which is good. So I can't really knock him too much for that. 2 TCs, I personally think is the better play here, because getting to imp faster is more important than getting like 10 extra villagers. Plus, you're kind of ahead. So
Yeah, exactly. And that plays into the Italian strength as well with the faster imp. Like, you just want to get as fast as possible into the winning position, which is like landing your opponent with trebs or controlling the water with like galleons or fast fires or whatever you can muster with Italians for sure. Yeah. You don't need these big ecos on islands because again you're limited to the island resources. So the huge booms, the PTC doesn't help you much.
I feel like Daniel's in a prime position to switch into galleys. I know it's a little weird because you have to get Bracer and Bodkin, but if you think about it, ACCM's got 2 docks, 1 is on fire, and he's just sending out random demos. So if you switch to galleys, you could just dominate the shoreline right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like preventing your opponent from docking is a big deal. Like you force them to need a castle to then make the docks there. And your plan long term is to play galleons anyway. That's generally how water meta goes, I believe, which is you should play galleons in imp. And I kind of like the idea of mixing in some galleys. Now demos are connecting here and there.
Yeah, but at the same time, maybe you don't want to spend, that'd be 300 food on the blacksmith upgrades. And I think with Italians, it tends, not Japanese, it tends to be fast fire openings. So he figures I'm making fires, I need to save my food. I'm actually really curious how on earth ACCM has been able to have, it seems like they've had the same amount on food, and yet the farming eco with wheelbarrow has been faster than fishing ships, and he's on his way up right now. And Daniel's not even close.
Fishing ship is so inefficient now because you're taking the fish so far from the docks, and it's like the whole point of a fishing ship is that it gives you extra population. It's really good in the early game, but at this point there's so much pop anyway that it doesn't really. The bonus is less effective percentage wise. That being said, Daniel will find his way to Imperial Age soon, within the next minute or so, and it's not going to be that big a difference in terms of time and what that gives you. But I think for ACCM, it's all about getting his composition, because he can't go. He doesn't get fast fires with Portuguese, so he can't go fire ships. Yeah.
Can he fit a castle in the center island? I honestly might not be able to.
He needs to take the relic. Dude, you're trolling him with that relic. Bro!
You normally, this is the first time I've seen this, Hera. Typically, you can place a castle here. You genuinely cannot fit that. And that would be such a big moment for him.
Dude, can he fit 3 ranges, though? That's the real question.
That
joke is so overused. I mentioned it every time, actually. I mentioned it last time as well.
At this
the joke
point,
is so overused, but like...
I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years, so...
yeah.
I mean,
so often.
In a couple years, I think the longsword one's going to be pretty old, right? But that's pretty fresh, so...
Very true.
The other thing is I don't play in many tournaments, so there's not many other errors that people can really pick up on. So maybe this year.
We hang on to the ones we make. Yeah, exactly.
So wait a second.
By the way,
he's going to just castle Daniel's island. And does Daniel see this? He's going to see it.
Oh, he has 3 monks in a mangonel. Why are you patrolling with 3 monks in a mangonel? This is like the perfect amount. That's so unlucky for ACCM, or like insane game knowledge from Daniel. I don't know.
I
Damn.
Well,
That's
if you think
fortunate.
about it, he's got vision pretty much everywhere else, and that
Yeah.
was an area where there were buildings before, so he's probably just checking. And I
Yeah,
just
insane game knowledge. Good
listen. I
stuff.
think it's unfortunate that you can't make a castle in the middle, but the result of that is not to place a castle on the enemy island, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's that's probably like 1 out of every 50 times right there. We haven't seen that at all yet, but still, you don't do that. I think you place it at home on the shorelines, especially with Portuguese, because you know if you can drag this out, that you should have the edge.
Yeah, I don't want to make you feel bad about the map gen, but the fact that you can't place a castle happened to me in a show match versus I think it was Doubts, not Doubts, someone else, but
I think
Hidden Cup Islands. Like I died to that.
depending
as well.
on when that happens, we've actually made updates to the map. So I
Oh,
will
okay.
report it and move on, and that's kind of we pushed like 5 updates to all maps pretty much. So
Okay.
sad for ACCM in this position, but he still hasn't placed a castle on his shoreline, and the enemy's getting fast fire and shipwright and is about to swarm in. I think he's out of position, and he's adding a Vittoria now, but he doesn't have the castle up yet. Like he's had so much
Yeah.
time.
This is like the problem with Portuguese. I think you mentioned it as well. Like Fitoria is like a bait. Like you go for it so early.
He's
but, like,
house.
brother. You have a Fitoria.
He
Because
can't
he
make
made the
Navy
Vittoria-
because
oh.
he's house because of the Vittoria, dude. Like the Vittoria is just
it's a
making
bait.
him lose the game right now.
And like, why are you thinking Fitoria when you have 20 fire ships outside
Yes.
your door? Like that doesn't really make sense.
That's what I'm thinking.
You
It's
commented on that. Yeah.
it's happened so frequently where people think, and maybe this is because they're reading AoE Zone and Twitch chat too frequently. It's just like they think that Vittoria's insta-win here, but you have to have numbers, especially against Italians. Look at this. Daniel's at 40 military right now. That came out of nowhere.
Dude, I want to see Daniel heavy demo the castle. That's what I want to see this game. It's on the shore, dude. Make it happen.
So you mentioned heavy demo, and that's exactly what ACCM's going for. The reality is, even though it slowed him down, he has a Vittoria that takes up 20 pop space, but trickles him in resources. Now, I think in a normal matchup, Daniel just thinks, all right, let's switch into galleons and let's just starve the enemy out of resources. But I think in this matchup, you need to get fast galleon if heavy demos come out, and then maybe consider either transporting trebuchets, as he's going to castle this island, or going for cannon galleons. Even just 1 or 2, Herod, just to like pressure as opposed to just camp it out, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, so there's actually a few ways to pressure on islands. So there's cannon galleons. You know, after you have the galleon pressure, which Daniel is doing, so good on him. You go for cannon galleons. You can start taking your buildings from the navy, but you can also land trebuchets. You can also land cap ramps. Those are very popular options. We're seeing now that the castle in the center of the map from Daniel, that's a good outpost. You know, that's a good place that he can start pushing in from. And he's now in pretty good control. I don't think the Vittoria will come into play for a long time. There's still a lot of resources for both players. So yeah,
I also want to point out that I am really particular about where castles should be placed in the middle. Like Daniel's on the back side of the middle is perfect because if you place it on the front, then the enemy can trap it from the shoreline. Yeah. And no offense, Hera, but do you remember that game against Doubt where you had Vikings and Doubt was Portuguese?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that particular game. Yeah, in that particular game, you were like, okay, this is good, castle in the middle, and then it was just that slight little positioning error combined with Doubt, you know, being in a better position, I think, than ACCM is. So it's on Daniel to push now, but I think it's so within the mind of high-level players to get a lead and just kind of like sit on that lead that it could potentially hurt Daniel if he doesn't back this up with Trebs or Cannon Galleon.
Yeah, I have to point out though, like we're saying he has to push. He's got like 20 minutes to push because the danger with Vittoria, it only comes into play when like all the gold or all the wood is out, and that's like we're still like 20 minutes from that. So Dan has to push, but like take your time with it. Get some Trebs out. He's getting Cannon Galleon now, so he's doing the right steps, but he needs to be like. He needs to be, you know, making those moves in the next 10 or so minutes.
Yep.
And he should be fine. But let's see what ACCM can do. He needs to just stall at this point. He's making galleons. He's hugging the castles. All right.
You could argue. I mean, this is a really tough choke for both players to push into because the castles. But I think you could argue maybe caravels with demos would be slightly better. But it's not like galleons are bad. So.
Yeah, and the Portuguese galleons still get some extra HP, so he's like Portuguese always have the better units on navy. Like that's just how it works.
Italians get there faster. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Portuguese better late game, but Italians have the have maybe more, have the initiative. But Daniel's choosing to make use of the initiative by raiding on the backside. That's not a bad choice necessarily, as we're seeing the second Victoria from ACCM.
I was
Games
just,
from
as I saw this, I was just thinking, where's all of his 50 military pops? So my only concern would really be, make sure you have enough on the front. And if you have enough on the front, then that's fine. And losing a Treb there, a little sloppy, I suppose. I like how Heated Shot came in for a Watchtower, by the way.
Yeah,
ACCM
I like
really
that
wants
as well.
that Watchtower to do damage.
Dude, that's the kind of energy you need, though. Again, I like that. Like the Hated Shot, I mean, it's helping out with the castle as well. It's kind of playing into his game plan of defense, defense, defense. So
Yeah.
it's a good idea, but it's obviously not kicking in too hard for now. Daniel, though, I don't like he can't get frustrated now, and he needs to find be patient. You know, he's maybe throwing some actually here.
Is that worth it? I don't know. And this is the problem. It's tough to kill the Portuguese, and all ACCM has to do is sit back. But you know what? The population is still really deceiving. It says 170 pop for ACCM. Subtract 40 from that. But man, the fast fire's not really doing much now. And Daniel losing another trip. Maybe he wishes he had some of that Navy in the back. And it's like, you mentioned you don't like this, and I can understand the perspective. Is using the stone you get from the Caravel, the Vittorias, and just making towers an option here? Because look at that do work in the back.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, the guard tower defense with Heated Shot, it does a lot of damage. Well, we're seeing the landing from Daniel. That could be the play. Yeah, he needs to push. Dude, I like this. I like this. Like, I think this is quite interesting when it's this kind of gameplay here. Whereas Daniel needs to push, ACCM needs to hold. ACCM has done a fantastic job so far, but now the landing adds another curveball there.
Think back to the Mongols-Britons game. It's, of course, a very different situation, but that was on Bay. And we know that Mongols completely overrun Britons if they hold to a certain point. And then Daniel had to push. And you know what? Kind of inexcusable for ACCM to not even have an outpost out here, my friend. Like, this should have been spotted at the very least. And here come the Condotieros. Plus, there's a castle to back it up. If Vittoria's right there, that could be Treb down. I mean, this is what Daniel needs to do. Pressure, pressure, pressure.
Yeah, the condos act as a nice raiding unit. Black some armor on them, and he's getting now the Trebs behind it. Meanwhile, fighting on the water, but this is a fight that ACCM will win. I honestly think ACCM could do this and could hold on.
He's got 55 military now, man. I mean, 55 military. Does Daniel need to be more aggressive? You know what? Maybe. What about? It's just so much work. But what about if when he showed up with the landing, he had units with Trebs? Like, he would already have Treb down a bit. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like the landing traps. I think it's really good because
as opposed to making them.
Yeah, exactly. Because now ACCM has his own traps. ACCM can get his own bomber cannons now. Like if he gets like a siege rush up, which he's scrambling up for. It's still a good position for Daniel, but I do agree that there's some argument there to say land traps is better. Yeah, that's a cast on the left from Daniel. Good.
We've seen Portuguese lose. We've seen Portuguese win. The longer it goes, the more people start to think Portuguese will win. And Daniel looking to prove the world wrong here, but lots of stone in the bank for ACCM to repair. I can't tell if I mean, Daniel, at one point, Daniel's 50 additional villagers is just going to mean nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
it'll be completely idle.
I'm just now seeing the elite cannon galleons in the works, but they're on the front here. This is awful for Daniel. Daniel, you can't lose these. You need to have this. Oh my God, no!
They're fighting like they're galleys. They're just patrolling in a line. Oh no, this is so bad.
That was
horrible.
horrible.
The front, he's losing the Trebs. He's prioritizing the castle. He just Trebbed the Vittoria.
He showed up with 3 Trebs there, man. Instead of losing those Trebs in the middle. I think if Vittoria and castle would have gone down already. But he kind of has given ACCM a couple minutes to hold on here. And also, those cannon galleons, so important. And I'm beginning to believe more and more in the Portuguese and ACCM's ability to just stall this game out. Say what you want about it being boring. A lot of people felt like full wall by minute 8 was boring for many, many years, and there were changes there. This is a big event, big moment, and the reason you maybe pick Portuguese and play it this way. My goodness.
And dude, like it's a valid strategy. And remember, the Italians was picked earlier in the draft for Daniel. He could have picked Portuguese if he wanted to.
That's
you know
true.
What I
mean? He actually picked Italians before Portuguese. That's a good point.
Exactly. So like he knew what he was getting into. You know, I believe Vikings was either picked or banned somewhere else. But you know, this is a matchup he was getting into here. And it feels like ACCM is trying to hold. It's not over though. Daniel still has, like I said, he still has like 10 minutes here to make something happen. Because he still has gold, he still has wood, but it's really getting to that point where resources are starting to run out.
ACCM lacking numbers on the front right now. He's got 35 galleons. He does not have them on the front because he's got 25 in the back. Probably a misplay there. If only Daniel had his like 5 or 6 elite cannon galleons, or is even using his elite cannon galleons to take out that castle.
Yeah, or just take out the docks, like do something. And I don't want to say that like as in disrespectful, he's doing nothing, but like you want to keep a slow push going, rather than trying to like take a big engagement. If you're Daniel's position even earlier than this point, but especially at this point, don't keep wasting army because you need to gain some momentum at this point.
I also, I don't feel like Condottiero landing is a great strategy. Against Portuguese, at least, because I feel as though it's a gold unit, and it's quite weak. Plus, you need to invest into the defense upgrades. And I don't even know how much it costs, to be honest. I think it's like 60-20. But if it doesn't really work out for you, then you just invested gold into the wrong thing. And maybe going for light cab would be a better play. It's just food.
Yeah. And you have Hussar, right?
Yep.
80 from Hussar, make it happen.
But you know what?
We're
starting to see the docks go down, and Daniel, maybe it was just him realizing, okay, the longer this goes, the more difficult this is going to be, and he's going crazy, just like Lawler the Legend in Twitch chat right now. But see if Daniel can finish it off, Hera. I mean, ACCM has all that navy in the north. He's just got to bring it to the main fight. Oh, Demos!
Demos moving around. Yeah.
Oh, boy! Oh my god. And also, were the cannon galleons in there? Okay, no, they're still safe. Okay.
We don't know with Daniel. The cannon galleon's been fighting alongside the galleons, neck and neck.
It's hard to tell, yeah.
Yeah. He's got 3 of those still alive, though. He's taken out the castle. So now he's got... by the way, a lovely move from Daniel to keep the land threat alive.
Yep.
While playing on the water.
God. I mean, great shots. But dude, you say that, but he's not when he's microing land, he's not microing correctly on water. He's throwing so many units. And honestly, it might be the end now. If he loses this, he's thrown one too many expensive units. He lost trebuchets earlier. He lost cannon galleons earlier. He's going to lose more now. And that castle's been cleaned up, and now ACCM's just going to sit back and say, what are you going to do now? He also has had 3 relics. So getting that... he didn't get the castle up where he would have wanted. But 3 relics too is also a bonus, which, if it wasn't Portuguese, would make a big difference.
Yeah, and honestly, Daniel's actually... He's running out of steam. He doesn't have the gold. He has 143 villagers, 59 idols.
Yeah.
And this is not the idols where it's like, open your monitor, fix your idols. He can't. There's no resources to take anyways.
Start taking swordfish. That's honestly what he's been doing.
Exactly. Literally, yeah. That's all you can do. So it's actually quite it's quite the challenge here for him to push any further. This might be the end. And ACCM, by the way, he's stacked. He's stacked. He's got 1,000 gold, 3,000 food. Wood income's coming in.
But while the transition was a little awkward, he only went with 2. I like it. I've seen players go with 4 and 5, but only 2 Vitorias seemed like a good balance. So he could maintain the land and water military, and he just slowly chipped away. I think Daniel's really going to be kicking himself because while the Vitorias are strong, there were more than enough opportunities and ways for Daniel to push. And like the landing, he gave ACCM time, and it gave ACCM the moments he needed to react, and then the cannon galleons, and just that's what you play games for. You know it's all about early mid imp with Italians, otherwise Portuguese will prevail, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Last thing I'm gonna comment. I have to go for 5 minutes. I just need a 5-minute break.
Sure.
But I will say I love the Fitiora. Just 2 Fitiora. Not a huge commitment, because the idea is the same. It's infinite resource. You don't need 4 to make it infinite. 2 is good enough. It's that trickle, and it still keeps the concept alive. Whereas the longer the game goes, the better it is for you, and you can always add in more later. Beautiful play from ACCM. A great game, and it's now match point for ACCM. Your prediction's alive, man. Mine is unfortunately lost.
Well, I mean, I just want a good series. Forget about the prediction. I just want a good series, and Daniel's going to have to deliver. But yeah, Hera, take your 5 minutes. No worries. I could use it too. Back. So see you in a bit. Guys, moving on. And right now, Daniel needs to respond. Of the deciders we have seen so far, so many of them have gone to 7 games. And I'm hoping to see the same here for Daniel. I'd actually like to look at the statistics for that one and just see what the resources ended up looking like. Guys, I think this tells you the whole story right there. That falls in line with everything we were saying. Daniel threw away so many gold units. Condotieros cost gold, and by the way, how much gold is a Condotiero? He lost too many Condotieros. He lost trebuchets. He lost cannon galleons. Of course, didn't need to go for the Tech 2. It was the KD shows it as well. Someone's saying 35 gold. Yeah, I've never really liked Condotieros. Well, the initial, when they first came out, were really strong. 3 relics even. So ACCM had 2 Fatorias, bringing in a trickle of resources. He also had 3 relics, and still Daniel was out macroing. Timeline also says it all too. Look at this moment right here. This is the moment. And that's not a moment. That is about 10 minutes where you transport the trebuchets over with support of Navy. You use those cannon galleons and you push. Now, I have full credit to ACCM because that landing really made that an interesting game. And it did potentially stall that game out to where it was because it wasn't just like a water v water fight. But you could argue that's a little bit of a throw from Daniel. Maybe something that comes back to his lack of experience on water. So, I'm mispronouncing Condotiero. Plural of Condotiero is Condotieros in this stream. If you think it's Condotieri, you can go call your mom tonight. That's what you can do. She misses you, all right? Tell her that you love her and you wish you could spend more time with her. That's what you can do. Lawler the Legend, thank you. 556 subs gifted that's not even the total amount you've gifted. You've gifted 969 subs to this stream. That's a lot of subs. And a hidden cup time, that's a lot of people who can have emotes. That is a lot of money going towards the main event prize pool, and you guys are just insane. Your support's crazy. Thank you very, very much, everybody. And I know that not everyone has unlimited funds to just toss at streamers. So to the people who have subbed themselves today, like Horg with the Twitch Prime, thank you for spending Jeff Bezos' money and not having to feel the need to do this with your own. I have no words for this. If you receive a gifted sub, say thank you. But yeah, gifted subs aside, everything else has just been wild today, and I think we've received more support in terms of subs and whatnot during this event so far than we did even the main event of Hidden Cup 3. So for just a qualifier, I'm blown away. Thank you. I do not deserve this, but I will continue to cast games. I've been here for, well, I'm not going to look at the clock, actually. All right, so let's talk home maps. We know what the next game is going to be. The next game is going to be Slopes. And for Daniel, he's got Celts, Khmer, and Byzantines, and I think you need to use process of elimination here. Khmer is probably this hideout pick. That said, if it goes to Game 7 hideout, you do have Teutons looming for ACCM. ACCM has Aztecs. He has Indians, otherwise than Teutons. My guess is... Ooh. Which one would you go for, chat? I mean, Indians are really strong. But you can see, at least in the draft, he didn't prioritize Indians as early. And that means both players went back and forth picking civs and didn't think Indians were that strong. Honestly, see Aztecs. I've seen Aztecs and Indians both picked. But I think you do not want to go Indians because Daniel will probably go for Byzantines or Celts. And I think Indians could really struggle against those civs. So, yeah, the global ban was at the start, and you actually globally ban blindly, and then after you both globally ban a civ, it shows up. So they both decided to get rid of Mayans. That's why it shows that. PM Me Pizza says, I love you, T90. All the best wishes for Hidden Cup. You can do it. Take my money. Thank you for the 39 months, PM Me Pizza. Subs are awesome, but the kind words are great, too. Strawberry Speedrun says, wait, I can just spend Bezos' money. Yeah. Actually, wait a second. You technically paid for that sub. That's not a prime, but... Hera, the action was too much for Hera, and he had to take a break, all right? He can't do a tech tree pause during a cast, so he's got to come up with some other excuse. The action was too strong for him. He will return here, and we'll move on to the next game. Julius and Larnith and Pancake63. Who's new here today, chat? With 13,000, there might be plenty new people. Sorry, this joke's kind of overrun as well, but... Coming from YouTube, maybe? Maybe. All right, there's some new people. Cool. I honestly, this is a moment where I need to pinch myself a little bit because it just doesn't feel real, to be honest. For an event qualifier to have so many here means a lot. But I'm gonna stuff all my emotions deep down inside. I will not reveal my emotions to the world. This is healthy. That's what my psychiatrist told me, is never talk about your emotions. Pay big money for that insight, and gonna hold that insight deep down inside till the final day. Oh, I need a new psychiatrist? Really? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I think the final, or not the final game, sorry. I think Slopes is going to be Aztecs against Celts, I'd say. I mean, you can make an argument for Byzantines because at a certain point, Byzantines just wreck everything. But Celts have a solid eco bonus, and I think can give Aztecs some problems. Drink some water. I have been trying to drink water today, but I finished my water. Actually, that's not true. I have a little water here. It's fine. I can maybe answer some event questions if you guys... No questions. Let's inform, okay? This is the... Wait, that's not the scene I wanted to go to. That's the qualifier map pool. This is the hero list. Because if you don't know, in the main event of Hidden Cup, players will be playing with a hero name. So Hera's one of the top 8. Hera will be playing in the event. He has not been given his account yet, but he will on Sunday night after all the deciders are over. And then Monday on stream, we actually have an interactive bracket here on Twitch. I don't have the time yet. But, yeah, we're just going to publicize the whole thing and show you how the bracket's made with a couple buttons, basically. It's random. At that point, the players already have their identities. And we just go boop and make the bracket with you all. And we've got some crazy heroes there.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Sorry, man. I was just talking about heroes here. Do you have a favorite, by the way? Not that we can give you your favorite.
Master of the Templar slaps, bro. That guy looks like a savage. I want to get him. Hold on. Who else? John the Fearless. That's a gangster name, too. Cobra Car. I mean, you're basically a cheat unit. Edward Longshanks. That's pretty cool, too. There's so many good ones. Little John. Wouldn't want to get him.
I'm imagining a final. Little John versus Cobra Car. That'd be so funny.
Little John goes in there, the underdog. You know what I mean? Like, kind of good story though. I like that.
All right, cool. Well, you had a pretty good name in Hidden Cup 3. Katyan Khan's not bad, man.
Pretty gangster, yeah. Made
Actually,
it pretty far too. I'm happy about that.
I didn't remember this at the time, but I did a and we'll hop into Game 6 here in a moment. But I did a hero showdown video with all of the Hidden Cup 3 heroes, and Katyan and Saladin made it to the finals in that. So it's literally just
No
the
way.
heroes fighting. Yeah, and Katyan and Saladin made the finals, and
Katyan won though.
yeah, Katyan won. Sorry, that was a little different.
True. Feels bad, man.
Okay, Hera, real quick before we hop into Game 6, you see the civs remaining here, and I don't know if you listened while you were gone, but I said that I feel as though while Indians are strong on this map, Indians might struggle against Celts or Byzantines for Daniels, so Aztecs might be the play for ACCM. Do you agree?
Oh, and Slopes. What's after that? Hideout. Hideout definitely gonna be Teutons for ACCM. Let me think. Khmer probably for Daniel. Yeah, Indians or Aztecs both can be good. I do agree that Celts is a bit sketchy for Indians, but then again, Celts is a bit sketchy for Aztecs too. So, I think either. I wouldn't be surprised, but it does make sense to go Aztecs here as well with that logic.
All right. Well, let's hop in, find out. Will another set go to 7 games? Will Daniel respond here, or will he not have enough? I think ACCM will love his civs if it goes to Game 7, but you got to play the game, man. You can't just have a civ and say woohoo victory. Aztecs for ACCM and Celts for Daniel. I'm thinking this through. I have to give ACCM his win. But yeah, tell me what you expect from this matchup.
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting because generally speaking, for those unfamiliar with the map, there's the shorefish and the deer on the outside. Both sides get them, and that's like the kind of the main thing on this map. And generally speaking, you'll see Indians prioritize them. In this game, there's no Indians, no faster shorefish bonus. So I think both players don't want to go to the outside in this matchup because that's going to be really exposed, and you can just play down the center with men at arms or a primo drush potentially. I could be wrong, but I don't think either will go to the outside.
Okay.
and then just wall up and play kind of like standard Arabia actually, and then with some small differences in the mid game. So men at arms for both players, or maybe drushes.
This could be one of the lamier maps because it's one of a few maps where you have fixed position. Now, the boars are always on the back side, but if you're scouting the back of your base, like Daniel's doing currently, not scouting all the front of your base, this can happen. So it's tough, man. Laming it's a kind of an easy way to gain a quick lead. At the same time, with that existing, I think that maybe Daniel should have scouted the front as opposed to the back first, and he's down 2 pigs.
Yeah, and that's that could snowball. It's not a huge deal. 2 sheep. Oh, that's a third though. It's not a huge deal. It's not game breaking if you lose a little bit of a little bit of food.
Oh
Okay.
my God, that was dirty, ACCM. That was dirty.
Dude, that's brutal, man. His guy's got no hearts. Okay, that I was gonna say sheep, but it's a pig. It goes down. Okay.
Honestly, though, this is also the power of Mezzo because the eagle's so strong. You can't fight that off. If you had your scout, if it was, sorry, a scout v scout battle, you could fight that off. But the eagle's stronger in Dark Age, and it has great vision. So I think Daniel's going to look to get some reward here, and he's going to get revenge, excuse me. But he didn't run into the TC, and it doesn't look like... Well, actually, yeah, look. ACCM went forward so quickly, he didn't scout his own base. All is fair in the world again, or close to it, and these pigs should go home to Daniel.
Yeah, and then there's the one injustice in the world. ACCM did that pig dirty, and that's the last thing that's making it uneven here for the Dark Age. And that's if those pigs, let's just call them sheep, make it back to Daniel's base. And yeah, look at that. Daniel's going to go for the berries, and ACCM, ACCM's going for the outside. So ACCM still maybe a bit greedy, but maybe a little bit, maybe it's going to pay off. Wants the outside resources here.
So this is where scouting is huge, and there's 2 aspects to this. First off, when the game starts to become quite lamey, suddenly you might not do everything you want with your scout. Like, look at Daniel. He thinks, I lost a sheep. I'm sending pigs home, or sheep home, whatever. And I've got to get more food, right? So he doesn't want to take the risk, but what he's not doing is he's not seeing that the enemy's taking the risk, Hera. And I would say with the best games I've seen on this map, players have scouted the enemy sides by maybe the 8th minute and can prep to pressure that in some way. If you end up taking a risk and just hoping they're over there, it could be difficult. So I think ACCM probably in the lead in terms of, gaining reward for the outside, and then maybe Daniel won't find him out there.
Yeah, so it's basically a good thing until it's not. Like, Daniel has to prove why taking the berries is the better option here, because safer doesn't mean better. Like, safer is better over 100 games maybe where you get punished less, but this is one game. If ACCM doesn't get punished, then going to the outside is better. More food income, just more food. The berries, you'll get them later as well, and faster income, which is a big thing in Age of Empires as well. So we'll see. Daniel has to prove himself here and why he didn't want to take the outside. Barracks coming up. He's playing as Celts. We're now seeing the barracks from Aztecs. Both infantry civs, though. So we'll see what comes out of this.
Yeah, and let's see what he does with his scout, because just scouting and seeing there's no mill on the berries would tell him to pressure the sides, or going over to the side would all be good. But this is very identical. They're both getting loom right now. And Hera, I'm glad you pointed out that it basically just said it depends, right? But I think that's important because as we see some civs do well, it's how you play the civilizations and how you address the civilizations too.
Exactly.
And like Bay, for example, Mongols won twice yesterday on Bay. And today we saw a great counter to Mongols due to just reading the map. So it's a combination of a lot of very complicated factors, but both are going to feudal. And there, if Daniel just scouted the other side, Celts are
I hate
dominant.
what ACM's doing, though. Sorry to cut you off, but I hate what ACM's doing. What, 1, 2, 3, 20 pallicides times 2, 40 wood plus idle time to get the sheep, or to get the fish. I'm tired too. I don't think that's worth it. I don't think you gotta play it that safe. Again, just take be greedy, dude. Be greedy. It's actually better to be greedy sometimes, and it's playing it too safe. He's gonna have to break the walls to take the goats there after the ibex. So
what's interesting is normally the scouts for both players would be in front of the barracks. So you could, in theory, know if the militia were coming your way and just run from that side,
Exactly.
So you don't need to make a zoo here, especially when there's, I guess there's a decent amount of food there. I guess it'd be better if he had all the deer, but we actually made that change, so you can't just quick wall with 1 or 2 palisades to keep villas safe. So
Yeah, it's not all shorefish anymore. The deer makes it. Yeah, this change was really good, by the way, and we're already seeing more options, more diversity than just Indians, which is partly due to the draft, of course, as well. Okay, so Celts, faster moving militia. How big a factor does that play in a meta arm war? Do you think?
It's huge, especially when you're a
Yeah.
nerd like Daniel. You can micro like crazy, and ACCM recognizing this is going back to the TC, but Daniel recognizing that immediately goes for the Palisade kill, and this is just high level stuff. Range opening for ACCM behind this. Era, I truly feel like Celts are a top tier pick for this map, not only because of the man-at-arm play, but also because Indians are common, and I think Celts can give Indians problems. So in the main event, I don't know who it will be, but it would not at all surprise me to see Celts, even Bulgarians, some like heavy pressure civilizations be seen here.
Yeah, like men at arms civs in general, kind of, or like just any infantry, like even Drush could work. Kind of makes the sides, the sides with the food kind of sketchy. In this case, ACCM is actually going to go for a counterattack. He's saying he doesn't really care, but the men at arms in his base, he's walling them out. He'll deal with them with archers. He's going to counterattack. I like the choice. Daniel, he wants to go forward with archers and another men at arm though.
Yeah, he did just spot the eagle, so now he's got to worry about this, and he's actually made an additional man-at-arm. I guess it's good he can run away, but really you should be relying on walls, just like ACCM just did. Speaking of fast man-at-arms, that villager should go down. Doink, got him.
Gets clapped.
Yeah.
Well, back home, though, there's some damage from ACCM. Yeah, he's forcing off the berries, and sometimes you don't have to kill villages to cause disruption. Just getting the idle time is pretty big. But both players have archers at their own respective bases to deal with the men-at-arms.
I'm going to interrupt you here. Do you think it
Yeah.
would make sense to possibly shift to your right side if you're Daniel? Send 4 villagers and mill. You've got the wood. You could farm, or you could take that, and you know the enemy's on the left side. What do you think about that?
Oh, it's actually not a bad idea. Especially considering he wants to make farms anyway. He wants food income instead of making the farms just go and take the food. I like it personally. I like it.
Yeah.
It's not a mistake to not do so, but it's a missed opportunity. We can call it that for sure.
Yeah, I think, I mean, farm's still safe, but, you know, especially in a game like this, being in Castle Age 40 seconds faster can win you the game. So I think that slight edge can be nice, and now we get to see what happens. It's funny how he made all those walls, and now he's outside the walls, ACCM, but Daniel never scouted this. Oh my god, that's so funny. ACCM's running right to him. He's like, kill me, please. I want to die. Oh, that's awful. Oh, he could have just stayed there.
And these are Celt men at arms. I think all the vills should die. He gets one so far. The second one, she goes down as well. Third one, maybe she saves. She gets saved.
Yeah, she'll be saved, but I mean, worth it, right? That was huge.
Yeah. Daniel lost a vill back home though to ACCM's men at arms. Don't let this, don't let this feel like a one-sided battle here. There's things going down on both sides here. Daniel is up 2 vills though total.
Honestly,
very intense.
I mean, this has been the same in most of these deciders, and clearly the results have proven that. But both of these players are so good; they deserve to be in Hidden Cup for it. It's what it feels like, right? The level's great, the reactions, the quick walls. These guys are beastly players right here, and it's going to be heartbreaking to see one not make it into that main event.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've said this before at the start of the cast, but like it feels like, especially competitive play, and I felt this as well. Like when you win, you get the highest of emotions, like the best feelings, and when you lose, like a close series, especially, you get the lowest of emotions, and that's just the competitive nature of these events. And even some of the casters and viewers can get a piece of that feeling as well if they're rooting for their champ there.
Yep.
Dino gets another build, by the way. That's some pretty good value there, and defense at home.
Men-at-Arms also were getting some sick hits in there. Like they might not have killed a lot, but they weakened some of the archers and skirms. And defended at home. He's got 300 food in the bank. I mean, he's not close to clicking up yet, and he's actually sold all of his stone to try and get a faster castle age. That's an interesting move.
That's a bit early for that, but again, I said this a lot. I'm using the same phrases. I'm not a caster here. I don't mix it up, but I like the kind of energy. Like he wants to go up faster. It's the right call. Maybe a little bit early, but the right idea. And he's now sneaking some archers on the left side. HCM, though, he's fully walled except that hole. Don't tell me it's going to come down to a hole. No, it gets patched up.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, he's checking constantly, right?
Yeah.
And well, it's only a problem if he needs a tower, I guess. Because if he's walled, and he's walling with a lot of villagers, I suppose you could just defend behind his walls. But, dude, do you think that maybe he saw ACCM score or something that made him think ACCM had clicked up already?
No, it's 17 minutes,
okay.
18 minutes. I don't think so, no. If that's the case, you're giving way too much respect to your opponents. Like, That's like I don't think so. There's been too much damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the case.
Well, I mean, even if it ends up paying off, as I said a moment ago, faster castle age could be sick here, and he's still using the market, man. Market macro, and he's on his way to castle age. And watch ACCM make a market here in a second. I just feel it. Oh, there it is. Market, not scripted content. He's gonna market, and so he might do the exact same thing. But Daniel had the better prices. He's not Saracens, but that's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good call from you actually. Good knowledge there. I gotta say.
My eco's so bad. I always need that market, man. I get that feel for it.
Part of the build there. Yeah, it's part of the build for you. I know how that goes. Yeah, but so the problem is now it's like he's doing the same thing as Daniel, but a step behind. I just think what will Daniel do? He's getting infantry armor. Wait.
Oh God, is he mind gaming himself here?
He's not Huns. Longsword.
I think he's expecting eagle play from ACCM, and I'm not even sure ACCM knows what he wants to do yet. If he's getting infantry armor, he might be mind gaming himself. And fortunately for Daniel, that villager does survive, but a little bit of pressure from ACCM, a little bit of market use.
Supplies.
Oh, another market with the quick wall. That's something that I'll look for you in the main event.
I like doing that as well. That's kind of overpowered. Dude, there's supplies for Daniel.
What? I mean, honestly, if he trades against all the archers, he might end up calling this. He's just calling it 3 minutes ahead of time. He's so galaxy brain. He's thinking ahead of what's actually happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so he doesn't know that ACM is doing the barrack switch, but it actually is happening. So, well, there's 3 vills forward, by the way, for Daniel. We're seeing the second barracks now for him, and he's definitely gonna commit to longswords there. We see it now, guaranteed longsword, maybe siege. It's not terrible. Listen, it's not bad. There's no slingers. It's not Incas. So,
oh my goodness, dude. This is going to go to game 7, isn't it? Look at this push, man. He's see the future. He's going to go longsword siege. And against eagles, I suppose if Aztecs had the monks, it'd be great. But this castle age time is going to be so late for ACCM. And what's funny is, Hera, ACCM took the side. So he took those resources. But it seemed like the farms and the stability wasn't too bad for Daniel, plus the market, of course.
And of course, ACCM ended up losing 2 vills for that fish. So it's like, was it worth it in the end? It's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Feudal played out, and there's a big push coming in. And this is such an unorthodox push, by the way. Longswords, although it seems natural with Celts and infantry siege civ, it is a bit unorthodox. We've seen it only once in Germans this year, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it's true or not, but
I mean, one time is remembered. Let's put it that way.
Definitely, yes. And I was thinking, Scorpion has started out. This seems like a late to the party, too much farms Huang rush. You know what I mean? He's doing the skirm ramp push that he likes to do.
Well, I mean, you take Aztecs off gold, and suddenly Aztecs are very, very basic and simple. So you take them off gold. There is another gold for ACCM, but it's walled out, so he goes there. And for now, he's trying to take out skirmishers. The thing about longsword, first off, supplies means that all the future infantry units are discounted, which is great if you're going to make a lot. But that's 150 food and 100 gold, which is like 2 nights, I think, or maybe even similar.
That's similar.
And then you need the units themselves, and then you need the longswords. But look, he's just going around the TC. Are we going to see longsword raids?
Dude, they're so fast though, but that's not worth it. He lost like all his mass. That's not worth it at all.
Maybe not.
IMO. And there's just a counterattack from ACCM. I don't even know if I agree with this counterattack, but it's not a bad idea in theory. The idea is like the Eagles can't do anything at home anyway, so might as well counterattack. But the push with the ram is so fast actually. The Celt ram attacks faster, by the way, so pretty strong.
Little base trade, I guess, and it just kind of depends on the value they can get with their awkward situations. I mean, look at this. Daniel's going to quickly house wall, and this is a great call, man. Just defend with what you can, because crossbows could really be problematic. And he might even be able to use that siege workshop. But remember, he cannot tower his gold. He sold his stone. Yeah. This is a YOLO play. If it doesn't work, then maybe ACCM could boom out of this. That said, he also sold stone, and Daniel moved around with the speedy longswords to hit the gold. He's on point right now.
And there's no gold income. There's no gold income right now for ACCM. He's going to go back to that main gold, but now that's broken in on by the ram. So this is looking very sketchy all of a sudden in terms of, can he secure the gold to make the crossbow switch? He's now got only 1 range production, maybe some monks.
The longswords
complicated.
are going to break in. You got Scorpion defense for Daniel on the other side. 2 Scorpions, he's certainly fine, but he has to pull villagers at the front. You've got villagers going down. I think Daniel's going to do this. I think we might go to a game 7. Crazy stuff here, man. These deciders, though, been insane.
Oh, dude, I hate this though, because if we go to game 7, that means another heartbreak for one of these players. Like, it's
I know.
Just, you can feel the pain, but let's not get ahead of ourselves though. The counterattack from ACCM, it's not bad. It's on the gold, but there is the defensive siege from Daniel. Well played there.
Yeah, I didn't pull the vills. It's super messy. But I'm just thinking about like potential with military. It feels like ACCM, he won't have barracks for Eagles. Eagles wouldn't even work. His archers are going to die to the Scorpions. So in a second, he's going to have really nothing about this. Honestly, if Daniel just had a few Mangonels, he could be polishing off that TC, and then I think he would win the game. But for now, ACCM still with a slight chance making his own siege workshop.
Like I said that so casually, a few Mangonels. Yeah, maybe if he had some Paladins too. Brother, he's making the Mangonel. He's got no resources. It's coming, you know?
Here come the longswords, bro. It's just like, woo! And the villagers sense it, so the villagers are running away. Forget about like...
And the ram on the front is a beast, by the way. It's tanking everything, actually. There's some longswords in it too.
Yep.
I like that.
Celts are honestly broken in these situations, and I think one of the top tier picks against Huang in ranked games might be Aztecs because of the monks. But if the game plays out like this, and you get a faster castle age, this is what's possible. And he's basically Huang rushing with
eco.
With eco, yeah. He's into the wood line now.
Yeah, it's quite strong. Like the Celt Siege is no joke in Castle Age, and there's no redemption. Like there's no gold income even for ACCM, and this map is not Arabia. This map, there's not a lot of woodlands to take. There's only 2 gold piles that you have on your main land, so it's like it's even scarier to lose pressure, to lose control of the front of your base, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. ACCM is down to 38 vills. It's 8 vill difference here.
Yeah, I mean Daniel's economy is honestly pretty good considering he's got plenty of farms. He has 10 times the amount of farms as Huang. 10 times. That's insane. That's how good this is.
I love it, actually. That's so good. Very good statistics there from T90. There's still, it feels like there's still like no eco for Daniel, but that's just because he's doing a good job spending it. Like every time he gets, enough. Ooh, Mangonel trades though. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Can you like sell all your food if you're ACCM and just get redemption ASAP? I guess he's got his own Mangonel actually, so yeah, it might be okay.
And redemption doesn't even solve the problem because there's like a ram as well. But although it's gonna be a good attack, are the longswords teleporting for you as well? Did you see that?
I believe it or not, I looked away at something else, and I didn't miss that one though, bro. Oh my god! And then the Mangonel micro from both of them is sick. But for Daniel, he gets another shot. Oh my god, that micro though.
That's huge. That's huge. The 5 monks.
No sanctity.
Oh no.
No sanctity yet, Hera. Fire!
Run! Shoot!
All right.
No way. Shoot.
Sanctity came in, but those monks should be dead. They should all die.
Yeah, he can chase him down, eh? He can chase him down. I swear it looks like we're cheering for Daniel, but I swear I'm just cheering to see 5 monks flattened by a Mangonel. I swear that's what it's all about.
I'm just cheering because this is crazy. We've not seen this strategy yet.
It was the right call, actually. Like I was questioning it, not gonna lie. I saw longswords, PTSD came back, but it was actually the right call. All things considered, it was the perfect strategy to execute here.
Yeah.
Execution, not the best. He's losing some Mangonels here and there. It obviously could be cleaner, but the decision making and the strategy itself was very smart.
He's killed 14 vills in this game, and he's only lost 3, and he's doing the right call now. He doesn't want to continue to go YOLO. He's going to switch into a boom. He did mine stone. We're going to see a town center soon. Okay, never mind. He sold all of his wood, but I think it would be wise to maybe just, since you're ahead in eco, switch into a TC while also pressuring. Whereas ACCM is just defense, defense, defense. He's going to go redemption monks. Is a massive chance with the monks because Aztecs are crazy with that. But this is why Daniel needs to get even further ahead economically, I'd say.
Yeah, at this point, like you've already forced so much reactions from your opponent, monks, Mangonels and stuff. He is getting some nice ratings and some good Mangonel trades.
Wow.
It's clean from Daniel. Yeah, very nice. And he is getting the town center now. Town center in the center. Daniel, what's your resources looking like? Only the 1 extra TC for now, but he might consider the next one as well quite soon.
I know it's called town center, but does he know you don't actually have to build it in the center? I feel as though... Like, okay, that is an extra barrier of defense, I guess, as this monk might convert the mango. Actually, that Mangonel has something to say about that.
Yeah, well, it's like, come at me, dog.
Delete it.
No, don't. Shoot, no, shoot. Oh, delete it, bro. What the hell? Oh my god.
You're
Terrible
never gonna
misplay.
kill that monk. So
Really?
that
I
was
feel like he could have.
really
It's a
weird.
Count Mangonel. He could have done it. It was close. I respect it.
You respect a lot of
Okay.
things that don't work out, I have to say.
Dude, second place is my jam, man. If it doesn't work out, then it's just second place. It's good too.
Well, anyways, I think the TC is a little questionable. I would have preferred it be on the sides, but I think we'll see a third one here in a second. And no, ACCM does not have good eco at all. Ironically, the person getting Huang rushed has Huang eco right now.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's just gonna get to a point where ACCM, he's gonna lose all of his monks, and then he's gonna end up calling it. You should probably not resign if you have monk siege, because that's one of the best compositions at coming back in these situations.
Yeah, so and I have to point this out, but like monks, the more you have, the worse they get, because you're human. You cannot convert to 20 monks at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like if you have 7, players can manage that. They can get 7 conversions, but if you have 10, players will not get 10 conversions every engagement. So now we're seeing Lightcap. What Dano should do is never fight the monks until he's got such an army that he clears them one shot. It's the best thing.
Yeah,
or he can
patience.
raid on the side, which is what he's doing. Yeah, exactly. Patience is what you need here. The only way to throw is to like be stubborn into the monks and get all your shit converted multiple times, pretty much.
I feel as though, like, did he not just give his opponent a way back by making this TC in the middle? I mean, I guess it kind of slows things down a little bit. As we see, again, you fire and delete here every time, Daniel. You're never going to kill that. Dude, no. What?
You were saying? That's what I like. It's Kelt Mangonel. It does work. I'm telling you, Kelt Mangonel's different. It hits different. It's built different, in fact.
All right. Well, actually, that turns out wonderfully for Daniel, and he's going to take out some monks. He ends up pushing on the front, and another monk will come in. Let's see if it's built different this time. But, the human aspect you brought up, the friendly reminder that we're all human, is huge, because ACCM has monks, but he's just not able to task them all. It's too much pressure.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And like he's getting raided at the back, and there's stuff. Look at the Vil count now, 75 to 37, and the monks are just gonna get worse from here anyway. So, wow,
right.
Daniel actually pulls through the light cap transition behind us. I do like that choice. There's actually one longsword in Daniel's base. Do you see that one?
He's like, I always hated these people. They never appreciated me. I'm gonna, oh yeah. Oh, never mind. He's been found out. But you know what? That was his target anyways, so.
Yeah, dude, he got hit 1 for 1. He'll take that. I think maybe even 1 for 2. And yeah, light cap transition now in. ACCM has only monks, like not even the siege to push with them. I think ACCM's not resigning because it's tournaments, but like this game seems over.
Yeah, well, but I mean, Daniel's just got to polish him off with the light cap, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. A few light caps coming in. And again, Daniel doesn't have to fight. Daniel should just raid, and he's doing the right things. I'm actually impressed by how well he's reacting to the monks, because it's not like to discredit him. He usually does good, good decision making with his army. But in a tournament, your last game, you sometimes want to rush it.
Yeah.
This is some good patience there.
Yeah, he's just gonna check the left, I guess. He's gonna have more light cav in a second, and he'll see that the monks don't have any spears or pikemen or eagles protecting them. So I think again he can afford to wait a little bit more. But Hera, this means we're going to a game 7. And I'm already starting to think about the hideout civs. I don't know about you, but I'm already starting to think about the work that Daniel's going to have cut out for himself in Game 7. It might be a little rough.
I think we saw Teutons do really well in that matchup, Teuton versus Khmer, if that's indeed the civs they go for, but we haven't gotten there quite yet. Yeah, the light cap's going in now. This is a good time, I suppose, but yeah, ACCM's just, his days are numbered at this point for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised the score isn't a little bit higher here. Double the population. Great technologies. Castle drop for Danny. He still could go in for those monks, but he's drop a castle there, and I'm not seeing much for ACCM at all, except for these monks. And against Lightcap, the counter, this should probably be the end, even though he could convert a few and the monks will heal. And they're insanely strong, but
it doesn't even matter. Like, even if you convert all the Lightcap, the castle's up. Danny can do this all day. He's not really losing anything by contesting these monks. Lightcap are quite cheap as well as a unit, so castle goes up. ACCM will have to realize that he doesn't have a win condition. Yeah. Daniel's at the back of his base with a Mangonel, by the way.
What?
There. Yeah. Well, okay, I guess
converts it. Quick, counterattack with the Mangonel. Go. Run. Stop the castle.
That went straight to the front, by the way. Okay, the Lightcap's there to clean up, though.
Yeah, I mean, he converted 5 Lightcap. I don't. I think it's been a long series, right? So it's easy for us to just be. I mean, the more I play, the more I forget to look at like, oh, I'm behind by 2,000 score. You know, those types of things.
Yeah.
So there's probably that aspect, but at least from what we can see, bird's eye view, as ACCM still kind of YOLO here is going to game 7, and that means that we've had like. Well, I'm just thinking through. We had 2 sets yesterday, one of which went to the 6th game, another which went to the 7th game. We've had, this will be our 3rd set today. One was a bit shorter, but the other one went to, shoot, I forget already. No, 7 games, and then this one will go to 7 games too. Yeah, so like, so many game 7s, man.
And there hasn't been a sweep so far
No.
in the deciding game. So like, it just shows you how close the competition is between everyone. Now the second castle comes in for Daniel.
All right, are you ready for these monks to
die? Yeah. Let's just sit back and enjoy, I suppose, at this point.
These things are so tanky. 60 HP versus 60 HP light cav. So, I mean, in theory, if this was MBL, I honestly believe that a lot of the light cav will get converted because he uses all the control groups on his mouse, like, which is really uncommon for our game. But here they come. Still coming. There's a raid with light cav now. I mean, there's 2 castles, dude. ACCM, call it, my friend.
Yeah, to be honest, the reason why like playing on in this case is not that bad because it can get him more energy because he's not really spending too much energy now. He's just walking around with monks, and it makes it seem like he's harder to kill than he is. So it's actually not bad.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, anyways, these monks should go down. I know they're the strongest monks in the game, but yeah. But with that, he should see the score, and he calls the GG. All right, so he just wanted to wait until he could use his monks. Oh, Hera. Wow. Man, what a trooper you've been and all the players who've joined, because I was expecting long sets, but like, this is closing in on being a 12-hour day of deciders for me. I'm not even going to... We don't need to sum this one up much, because Daniel just had unbelievable foresight, which we already touched on. My mind, it moves on to the next game and Hideout. And on Hideout, a map which historically has brought some very, very long games, we will have Teutons, we expect, for ACCM. And then it would be Khmer or Byzantines for Daniel. So Khmer's a common pick. Do you see Khmer or Byzantines for Daniel next?
Okay, we did see Teutons versus Khmer. I believe it's hard because I don't want to spoil. Teutons won in whatever set that was. I believe Teutons won, and it feels like it's a matchup that Teutons do get a bit of an army. They have better army because they get the melee armor on their halbs, for example. So I think maybe Byzantines from Daniel and bring something a bit different to the table. The thing is, Byzantines are really weird because they don't get an eco bonus like Teutons. They get only like cheaper imp, but they could have potentially the better army. You know, cataphracts, skirmishers, halberdiers that are really cheap. That cheap trash in general could be pretty good versus Teutons long term. What do you think about that?
I want to see some cataphracts. That's all I think.
Yeah.
So, let's hop into Game 7 and find out. I think either way, Daniel goes into this with a disadvantage civ-wise. And this is so important with drafts because you have to think, what if this goes to 7 games? What are they going to do on each map? And Teutons are, in many ways, predictable, Hera, but they're strong and predictable on this map. So that's the struggle. It's like, if it gets to a certain point with Teutons, they have their paladins that are stronger than they ever were. They have their infantry, which is stronger than it ever has been. Their eco's just as strong. Their castles are sick. I mean, this civ has honestly been buffed so much that could argue it deserves some nerfs because on closed maps it's too strong. So, anyways, ACCM, it comes down to this for him. He did play in previous Hidden Cups, and he wants to make it back. Aaron and I talked about how strong he's been this year, his mentality, and he's a big name. That usually is going to make these events. He's up against Daniel here, who, with this set alone, even if he loses this Hera, has shown me that he has leveled up as a player. His mentality is stronger, his foresight. Like, the nerves were there, Game 1 and Game 2, but he's made it close, and he will want to join his first Hidden Cup ever. Byzantines versus Teutons, what are you thinking as far as strategy goes?
Yeah, so as that deer runs back for Daniel, which is a bit unfortunate, I gotta say, like, win or lose for Daniel, still a great tournament for him. ACCM, he's the favorite here, so he expects to make it through. Would be an upset if he does, if he gets knocked out here. But props to both these players for going the distance here in this Game 7. As far as strategy goes, I think Chutins wants to play their game as much as possible, which is either going to be a simple boom with maybe a stable to collect relics or to get some map control with some scouts or knights. I think that's the safest approach.
Yep.
They also have the option for Monk Siege, though, because they have really good Monk Siege. They're also resistant to conversions. And as far as Byzantines, I'm not really exactly sure what to go for, but I think something like get a quick mini boom into a fast imp Arbalest could be something to consider, and then just try to get to that late game where you have the cheaper trash could be good too.
Yeah,
But could
I
go a
think
lot of ways.
I think the one thing Byzantines really need to take advantage of here is that while Teutons on paper have what I'd say is better options with the siege, it's expensive and clunky to get to that. And if you can take some map control and go for forward castle, cheap Imperial, which would be fast Imperial for Byzantines, you force Trebors against Teutons, and then the fact that Teutons have free murder holes means nothing, right? So with higher HP castle on the front, you're pushing with maybe bombard cannons, Trebs. You basically have to finish this game before ACCM can get to a strong position. But how do Cataphracts face up against elite Teutonic Knights, Hera?
No, Cataphracts eat them alive, I believe, because it doesn't matter with armor if there's attack bonus, and also the trample damage ignores armor. So pretty sure chat will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Cataphracts would dominate that.
I think so too.
Yeah, but we're definitely not going to see Teutonic Knights. We might see Cataphracts because they're not bad, but Teutonic Knights is like the worst option that you can go for as students. Like we might see champions if you want an infantry.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not Teutonic Knights. I was just gonna say though, on the Treb War idea that you had with the cheaper Byzantine castle, that's a really good point. It's not cheaper castle, but the higher HP castle. That's a really good point. This comes down to a choke point where it's like they're both people fighting an early imp. Byzantine that's the win condition there. And then also, if that drags to late game, what did you Teutons have in late game if there's no gold? There's no light cav. There's no bracer. Pretty bad, eh?
I know this is a pretty boomy map, but I kind of like the idea of taking map control and go 2 TCs and never 3 if you're Daniel. I mean, of course, you've got to play it by ear. But just kind of like how on Islands, players will go for 2 TCs with Italians to go for the cheaper Imperial and the fast fire advantage. Here, you go for a cheaper Imperial, let them get a 10 or 20 villager lead, but, get imp faster and treb them back. Maybe that's the way to do this. It's just, you've got to have a game plan to start off with, and then you adapt, but we have a lot of time to talk about things on Hideout.
Yeah. The 2 TC is interesting, and actually, I get asked often, like when people are wondering, like what's the point of 1 TC is to go all in, 3 TC is the standard boom, 4th is to do like a bigger boom. What's the point of the 2 TC? And that's coming in for a fast imp. So mini boom with 2 TC into fast imp is actually quite a nice strategy. But can we toss all that aside, by the way, because we got a barracks and 3 villagers from Daniel. He's gonna go for feudal aggression of all things.
3? Is he gonna go for? It looks like it will be men-at-arms forward archers. I mean, you get the map control at least. Yeah, he's adding militia, and these 3 villagers will go forward. I think the meta is to go 4 villagers forward because it just feels right with the towers and whatnot. But I guess in theory, if he needs to have more things inside of his towers, he could just go for a range and go for archers too. But yeah, clearly he knows Teutons need to be delayed in some way.
Yeah, so he's gonna go. Okay, one thing to mention though, there's only 1 gold, 1 stone inside each guy's base.
Yep.
So like, you have to move out. So map control is not bad. So we're seeing 3 villas going forward. We're seeing the militia, soon to be men at arms from Daniel, also going forward. Unfortunately for him, he's attacking from only the side of the berries and not the gold or stone. Not going to play a big factor right now, but he can break in. These Palisades and Dark Age only 150 HP. So in my opinion, he should already start hitting one with a scout. Like
that's true.
Trying to get in there.
You can honestly make arguments that. I mean, so the gold, the stone, the berries are almost always positioned like this, and it's almost always somewhat rangeable with the tower. So gold one side, stone the other, and then berries the other. But I think against someone who's going fast castle, taking them off of berries might be the bigger move than taking them off of gold or stone right away. But wait a second.
Yeah.
Daniel disagrees. Of course, he doesn't know about the berries there, but he does see the stone. Yeah. So he figures at least let's deny that. And my issue here is time, right? He's walking next to the walls. He's showing that he's going to go for man-at-arms. He's not attacking the walls with the man-at-arms yet. My issue with that is he could have already been pressuring, and he just waited about 30 precious seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So going around actually slows him down, but now maybe he has better position in his mind. Whoa, 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 whoa! This palissade's going down fast. Holy moly!
Oh man, Dark Age
That
Palisades,
was
man.
close.
That's no joke,
Yeah.
actually. Like,
Yes,
if he were to somehow get a build to be here a little faster, it'd be sick. But what is ACCM up to? Okay, this is
Oh.
funny. He's sending villagers forward, and Byzantines have free town watch. So houses are like outposts, man. You can see so much with them. If Daniel were to notice that, that would be a sick moment.
ACM knows the house is there. He also knows about the Freetown Watch, though. He can go around. We'll keep an eye. Looks like he's gonna go around. Daniel
Wow.
doesn't see that.
Wow, that's actually
that's
sick.
knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is knowing the Civ bonuses right there. There's actually some top 8 players who might not have walked around. We won't say any names. I'm not you, of course, Hera. You would know that. So
Respect, respect. Yeah, we got the longswords memes, but I know my Byzantine Town Watch.
Okay, so this is, I mean, the pressure's paid off, and all of a sudden, ACCM does not have the resources to go Castle Age. This is not just a fast castle map, and the blocking from Daniel. Oh
Ambitious.
man, that was very
That
ambitious.
was ambitious.
Yeah.
You overhyped that, bro. That was not gonna.
Yeah,
that
but
was
if
so
it
close to
worked,
death.
if it worked, Hera, it would have been
Yeah,
awesome.
True, true. Nice overhyped there. Loses the scout. Okay, but yeah, if it's worked, it would have been amazing.
Hey, sir.
What should I
Villager's
say?
coming in
That's
now.
big energy play, and so is taking the enemy
True.
stone.
Do you respect that? Yes, that's very true as well. As we're seeing ACCM. Wait, that's actually interesting though, because Daniel can think that he's got no stone.
Yep.
But Daniel's like,
Wait,
you know, hold
down
on.
watch. You'll see the villagers. You won't see the mining kit, but you can actually see the villagers there.
Oh my god, dude, that house is like, it's like a tower actually. The freaking barracks. Sorry. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, he made that in an arbitrary position. Like he made it so random, and it ends up spotting the stone. That's amazing, man.
Oh, the small
Byzantine is
things.
clutch.
This, like, believe it or not, this is why these are the moments that makes Age of Empires interesting. You know, like, it's all the small things always add up, and it's one of the many reasons why this game is still alive today. Crazy how complicated it is and how much matters here for the players. And this is weird. I mean, you got a rush for ACCM. I think he should really prep a house here. And yeah, he could block Daniel in. Daniel did. There's skirms
Oh.
here against your
Daniel's betting
archers.
off more than he can chew here. Yeah, Daniel's betting off more than he can chew. He probably should to cash out on that villager. Yeah, get that villager, run away, cut his losses here. It's not bad. He's up 3 vills.
Yep.
Granted, those 3 vills are forward now from Daniel, but he also has the 2 vills that he knows that ACCM is there. So why not just go back and kill those, and you'll be satisfied with that position. That's what Daniel should
Oh
do
my
right
god.
now.
Oh my god,
You ask
dude.
me.
He's actually created men at arms because it takes so long to create archers there, and he thought about going in and said, "Wait, I'll need 2."
He's preparing it.
I'm curious now if ACCM reacts, Hera. I'm so hyped right now.
Thing is, like, okay, Daniel might be waiting for the two archers actually, because the thing is, the men at arms actually move slower than vills, so ACCM can in theory run away from this. We'll see the reactions though as Daniel moves to the left side with the tower. ACCM not reacting for now.
And now he's running home, and the archers are going to be there to cut it off. So that's, if he micros this, this should be 2 the villagers dead, and that tower is pretty unimportant there. But at least the goal for Daniel has been achieved here, and that's to delay the fast castle, and it has set ACCM back a little bit.
Yeah, and those 2 villagers, like, I don't even think it was a mistake for ACCM to go out, and he'll save those actually.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
Really,
seriously.
really sick play.
Like from both players too, to make the right calls to even
Yep.
go to the stone. Well, wait a second. Can he save that vill? Quick wall.
Wait, what? Why is the men at arm moving faster than the vill?
Ah! It's a leftover bonus from Celts, Hera. Duh. That's how this game works. And the quick wall, honestly, was pretty
Yeah,
good for
that's
ACCM, but the man at arms still gets the kill.
What's the movement speed on that? I think men at arm is slightly faster. It's actually true.
Should
Yeah,
I
it's
was
slightly
gonna,
faster.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
gonna question that, but you know, like, all right, this he's better than me. So
Yeah, I actually made a mistake, but I'm 2k6, so even if I'm wrong, I'm right in this case. Yeah.
yeah. What am I
My
supposed to
fault,
say?
my
Man?
fault.
All I want is a battle royale tournament, man. I've got nothing to stand on here.
True, man. True, man. But you're putting your name up there, though. I respect that.
So
Yeah, go on.
I think this transitions into Castle Age pretty soon from here. What do you think about Daniel's position? He's got forward vills, could be somewhat exposed. They're not really protected. And ACCM, after everything was said and done, lost vills, but might be in Castle Age a bit faster.
Yeah, so like this is kind of like the aftermath of the feudal age. There's 3 vills up from Daniel, as you said. Wheelbarrow's the other 3. But I'm just not sure if I like the fact that he's investing into fletching here. Like, racing into Castle Age is important because that's when the TCs come down, you get the vill lead, and the eco lead starts to kick in. Like that makes the aggression pay off. But the longer you stay in feudal age, the worse, or the less of that vill lead you get. And now ACCM is up to Castle Age. And we might see some knights, some Teutons. This is where Teutons get strong in the castle age here. But Byzantine do have the cheap camels to match that, to be fair.
Yeah, and that's good macro from ACCM, and that's also the power of cheap Teuton farms. He's got so many farms, and after losing Vills and having to pull Vills all over the place, you would not have the eco to do that with most civs. So, and yeah, I'm thinking that there's a fair amount of momentum coming for ACCM, and that momentum will be much welcomed because he knows if this drags out, he'll like his chances a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Cataphracts, if it goes really late, maybe Byzantines are actually the better late game civ.
Yeah, like the Cataphract is not really a meme. Like they're actually quite good. They actually, I'm not gonna say recently, but a couple patches ago, 3-4 patches ago, the Cataphract upgrades got cheaper. So Cataphracts are a legit option these days. They're a bit easier to get into than maybe the classic Age of Conquerors or even Age of Kings game was. But we're a long way from there though. We're seeing 2 stables from ACCM who wants to go for some heavy knights. I want to see camels from Byzantines right now. Cheap camels, very good. You don't even care if you get them converted because they're so cheap, and you get to keep tabs on the Teuton knights as well.
Yeah, I spend every day trying to not take the words that you just said for granted. He's like 4 patches ago is what you just said, and we're currently watching a Decider with 13,000 viewers on the Twitch channel. Like, do not let that, for people who've been around for a long time, do not let that. I mean, let it become normal, of course. We accept that. But it's still crazy to me. I remember having conversations before Hidden Cup 2 with you. And, like, everything was so different. Players' levels have gone up. Competition is crazy. And people are interested in seeing it, man. But, yeah, camels, I like. And I also like the stable from home. I'm a little worried for the forward villagers. But he's actually towering there. I guess that's something, so...
That's so bad. Play greedy, man. Let this be a lesson to all players out there. Be greedy. Like, don't be so safe. If those 3 villagers die, they die. It's life. We'll all die someday, you know? Don't tower. Don't tower. He needs that for town centers at home. Anyways, it's not the best. It's not the best, but it's okay. Now the siege push is coming. Wait, is that too real?
Every Tuesday, there's gonna be these people trying to go 3 TC boom behind walls, and they're gonna die to 5 knights because they can't garrison their TCs properly. And then they're just gonna say, well, Hera told me to play greedy, so that's what I'm doing here. Don't go spreading lies, man. Just say it depends and let them find out their own lessons.
It depends, but if you waste your stone and you can't boom, then just remember it depends the other way next time. But yeah, I think the camel transition, 3 stable is a bit ambitious though. I don't know, they're cheap, but they're not that cheap.
He's being greedy. He's being greedy with the offense. So he's taking your advice here, but I think he's worried, and he knows that going defensive monks isn't an option against Teutons, and I think he also sees the monastery siege workshop with the barracks. So he kind of has an idea that this is kind of an all-in from ACCM he needs to defend from.
By the way, Daniel just got double bid axe, so he was lacking not only the Teuton farms were cheaper, but he also was down the double bid axe technology. So yeah, that's catching up to him now, and we're seeing the knights from Teutons with the +1 armor. They're not that bad against camels, if you ask me.
Yeah,
there's no bloodlines for Byzantine.
And then having a monk or 2 there to get conversions, then it honestly feels as though going straight camels, as that was the fastest conversion of ACCM's life.
Yeah, exactly.
But it honestly feels like going straight camels nowadays is very weak against someone mixing in knights with upgrades with a few monks.
Yeah, like camels have always been a soft counter to knights in the sense that like pikemen do more damage, but you know the good thing about camels is really their mobility. They don't do that much damage to knights.
Yep.
Big fight in the center. I think ACCM wins this, to be honest. He's got more numbers. The scout's gonna snipe the monk though, most likely. But ACCM does win the fight. Yeah.
You're kidding me, Daniel. That should be a conversion there. Like that was, dude. Daniel's so unlucky. Yeah. Well, oh no, he's not unlucky. It's Teutons. I'm sorry. I back that off. I'm a bit tired, and I always forget about that bonus, and I'm used to complaining about monks. And Teutons, there's a conversion.
Dude, Daniel. Just for the propaganda purposes of like anti-monk, I was gonna let it slide. Like, yeah, you're right. He was unlucky, you know.
There's like as long as we could change in this area, I don't care. Yeah, that's funny.
Just for fair play here. By the way, the tower in the back of Daniel's base, again, it's doing the same job as a palisade wall. Like, just put a palisade wall there. Save yourself the stone.
He's got 8 archers in that range. He could honestly use them. I didn't realize he had that many.
Saving it for next hidden cup or what? Use them, dog.
Yeah.
It's 8 archers.
I mean, garrison in your tower, and then... Oh, he's forgotten about them. The poor villagers.
Yeah, that tower was great, by the way. Okay, I'm gonna stop hating. I
Just
don't want to. I don't want to be
listen,
disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Just because
Um,
in one instance you're right doesn't mean that that couldn't have worked out in a different day. All right, Hera.
Yeah, I'll let it slide. It's not the end of the world for sure in any case. But just a thought for next time. You know, some
But
greed helps out for
but
sure.
you're on a serious note. The point of TCs is becoming a problem because he's prepped
Yeah.
everything to defend from an all in, and ACCM. It's very scary type of push, but he actually didn't go all in. It was just one monastery, a few monks. Siege Workshop made a ram to ram down some of the buildings because I guess he didn't like the line of sight. And 3 TCs, 56 villagers, and Teuton's booming way better than Byzantines. And what's even worse about this is it's going to be so tough for Daniel to do what we said, get a forward position and use a fast Imperial.
That's a very good point. Yeah, the fast Imperial Age is kind of out of the question right now. He does have 2 TCs. It's not the worst thing. He has got 2 TCs, but he'll be falling behind in eco for sure.
Yep.
It is the question for me now is, can he get back the map? Because he has the 10 crossbows in the front, which are archers for now. Can he get back the map with the camels at home and then make use of those 10 crossbows to maybe muster together some sort of push and then maybe get the forward position from there? It's very ambitious, I know, but it's definitely the line of thinking he should be taking, because if this goes to Imp, ACCM will have a big advantage.
I think the mindset changes now, and ACCM says, okay, we have to kill him like pretty fast because we have a considerable lead. And ooh, Teuton bonus. That bonus is so huge, man. The fact that he can run in there with confidence is insane.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a huge. I think ACCM wins this. I
think so too.
That's a big turning point. The camels get converted. The knights are under the TC. There's already an eco lead, and the thing is, Daniel's got the three camels on the left side of the map with the archers that have accomplished absolutely nothing as well.
Yeah, they're gonna save the archer range so he can eventually use the archers, hopefully. But man, this is where, as a player, and maybe not, but I feel like in Daniel's position, you got to start thinking back to all the games where you could have done it a bit better, right? Like this game goes wrong for you, but it's not just that. It's the islands game with the Trebs and cannon galleons. It's the losing the scouts to town centers. Every moment has mattered. It's all brought us to this point. And ACCM's going to go in for the kill now. He's not going to allow Cataphracts to be an option. He's going for pikemen on the front, just teching into that. And it's so tough for Daniel to defend with only camels now. This is so sad to see, but we're seeing this a lot in the Deciders. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, now the thing is, like, what do you do if you're in Daniel's position? Because unfortunately, there's not really a good option for defense. You know, the camels, you've tried that, it hasn't worked thus far, and now the pikes are coming in. There's no time to tech switch anyways.
Oh, whoa!
Cataphracts an option. Oh, the monks.
They wanted.
It's not enough though.
They wanted to die. I mean, that's interesting.
Mangonel's in there as well. Is ACCM paid actor or what? What's going on here exactly? 4 monks and Mangonel, man.
Oh my god. Oh god. I mean, now the pikemen are coming in, and if you look at the way this is panned out, dude, I can't add that all up. But imagine if you're watching on YouTube, the army value just disappeared for ACCM. He's got 650 army value. It was probably at 2,000. I still feel like again, if Daniel drags us out, use the archers. Oh my god, he's getting crossbow.
This is the perfect time. He looked at his range. There's no way to get crossbow without looking at the range.
Come on,
please.
You've got to be kidding me.
This is like the time to make this work, actually.
Hello. Don't tell me you're waiting for Bodkin. Yeah.
Let's
wow,
go, man.
And the thing is,
in what world?
He waited so long. ACCM will be like, what? This is like when you start losing to someone because you think they're bad. You're like, that's so bad. Why would that ever happen? He's not reacting. What?
Wait, there's so many villas going down here, actually.
I mean, it's still 20 difference, but I still feel like all Daniel needs to do is drag it out super late. So if you could drag it out super late, maybe then with Cataphracts, you could do something.
Okay, listen, I'm not a hype caster, but bear with me. In 2 hours, Daniel wins this game. Like, if he finds a way to magically stall this, there's no gold on the map, cheaper trash from Byzantine with Bracer, that could actually bring him back in the game. He's not going to win in the next hour, I'll tell you that much, okay? So strap in if you're a Daniel fan. We're going the distance here.
Oh my god, dude.
Could end
he doesn't even know. And Daniel, don't send your cross... Dude, I'm losing my mind here. I mean, guys, remember...
Oh my god.
Remember that they've been playing for hours, right? And to go for these monk, siege, crazy pushes, it takes a lot of focus. But there's a chance here that the focus he's putting here is not going to work. And that the crossbowman, of all things, could take Daniel to victory. I mean, the 15 villager lead for ACCM. Is he ever going to send the knights to kill these?
That ACCM, you know there's a town center. Like, does he know? Because he keeps running into the town center.
I mean this respectfully, it almost feels like he dropped. Like, for a second there, it honestly felt as though like he dropped from the game when clearly he didn't. So
yeah.
Like, look at the crossbow. Okay, now he sees it. All right, Daniel's mistake was getting too close. It was too bold, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you can get away with it the first 2 times, but then you get greedy. He should have just hidden the corner and came back in 20 minutes, honestly. Wow.
Dude, I swear, in all seriousness now, like we're roasting the players here on their mistakes, but
Yeah,
it is a long series,
it's tough.
and it's messy. It's messy. So
and you have a perfect example of it right here. Like Daniel, I mean, also it's not even just the stress of playing for 4 hours. It's the mentality, and
yeah.
I'm sure it's going back and forth, and now I'm worried for Daniel because he doesn't have anything at home, Hera. He doesn't have camel numbers. This is perhaps why ACCM was tossing in ram after ram. There's not anything here from Daniel, and if that TC goes down...
3 rams. You can't repair versus that. There's a monk, but there's Teuton knights, and I mean there's pikemen anyway, and you keep getting flooded in there.
Yep.
And by the way, the pikemen have an extra melee armor, so like the villagers have no chance, or like any army for ACCM has no chance here. And
dude, and think of what ACCM has had to do to get that 30 villager lead, which he's back to, by the way. 3 TCs pumping out vills, the barracks and the rams coming nonstop, the knights now coming, and Daniel. For a moment, it looked like there was a chance because of a small misplay from ACCM, but as there's crossbows back to deny a castle, it still feels as though the main eco for Daniel is just going to be pushed further and further away from his base. Oh, man.
And Daniel, like, you could say stall, move around the map, but I just don't see him really stalling from this point. He'll lose his entire main base. He doesn't have the time to rebuild from basically scratch because he'll be down to 50 villas most likely here. And ACCM, well, he's putting his foot on the gas here.
Yeah, seriously. He hits that wood line immediately. Still taking out production buildings when he can. In this case, even taking out houses. And he is able to clear it up at home. And so you've got a 60 villager lead now for ACCM. It's pretty telling how far ahead he was when he was able to miss those crossbowmen and still be able to dominate.
Yep.
And it's
still be this far ahead, basically.
It's sick. And Daniel... Just GG, well played. Daniel was 1 game away. And respect to Daniel. Respect to both players, seriously. And Daniel says good luck in the tourney. He realizes it's a big moment for ACCM too. But unfortunately for Daniel, he's on the wrong side of things here. ACCM wins 4-3, and he will make it to another Hidden Cup Hera. Honestly,
Crazy,
just got
man.
chills because I know Daniel's going to be so gutted. But ACCM deserves this. In a very close set today. I'm excited for Daniel's future because the shakiness that he's shown in last year's Hidden Cup qualifiers and other events, he was able to shake off that rust and really show his strength today. So I believe his day will come, but ACCM just maybe the experience and mindset doing it for him.
Yeah, and dude, it was so close, right? Like I hope Daniel takes this as a learning lesson. It builds him up as a player, and he stays patient with it because he's solid. He's getting better every month. He performs at a better level. And if you think about it, last Hidden Cup, he lost in the early rounds of the qualifier. Now he's already making it to the finals of the qualifier, to the last game of the qualifier. And who knows where he'll be next year? For Hidden Cup, more tournaments coming this year, hopefully. So props to Daniel. Keep playing, keep improving. He's doing really well for himself. But in this moment, it's all ACCM here. He'll make it to the main event. Congrats to him. Last Hidden Cup, we got an unlucky pairing versus Viper, but this main event, he's a different player. He's a different player.
He really is. And just to kind of give credit to both players in the same light, you mentioned before the set that you could compare ACCM to Velez, where they're maybe not quite in that top 8 in people's minds, but they're becoming that figure, that player who's always making it to these events, where it becomes more and more of a sure thing that he is going to qualify. And he did here. So that's a compliment to ACCM, of course. But Daniel almost beat a player of that caliber. And we could go down all the deciders. All the deciders have had big names. But I think that means bright signs ahead for both players, and
Yep.
maybe not too exciting times for some of the players in the top 8 because the going is going to get rougher and rougher and rougher over the next few years, right? So keeping everyone on their toes.
Yeah, and the competition's so close these days. I mean, just just how close these qualifier sets have been is just a taste of what's coming in the main event, and just for the future in terms of Age of Empires. The scene is really at a good spot right now, and yeah, I mean, shout out to the tournament host for putting on such great events. I'm excited for the main event, and hopefully ACCM will bring his best shape there as well.
Is there anything in particular you look for ACCM as we're trying to spot them in the main event? Of course, you'll be playing, but is there any quirk, civ choice, anything that really caught your eye?
I think the Ram thing that we noticed with the forward siege was like the big one, honestly. Other than that, honestly, he strikes me as like a player that's not like flashy in any category, but he's just well-rounded, and it's hard to tell those players.
Yep.
He's gonna blend in with Dogao. He'll blend in with, I don't know, like Tado might have some weird things, but like Velez, they all play really solid, really well-rounded, and I don't know if they have too many quirks. So, um, but yeah, just keep an eye out for maybe the Ram. Maybe the Ram thing is the only thing I know.
that I mean, it's so specific, right?
Yeah.
So, oh God. Well, Hera, let me just double check with Robo. I don't think ACCM is going to be able to do an interview here. So these games were actually played during the other set earlier today. Like this has been a 12-hour stream, so it'd be a rough time for actually both of them to start a set. So I think we're going with no interview here, and I'll get an interview on YouTube at some point before the main event with ACCM. But if he's out there, congratulations to you, ACCM. Hera, thanks for just like Leary sitting with me for a full best of 7 today, man. I know that like for you guys, it's exciting to play in the tournament, but you've got other things going on too. So I definitely appreciate your time, and honestly really enjoyed casting with you. I had a lot of fun. So
Yeah, no problem, man. It's my pleasure, and thanks for having me. I actually reached out to you. I wanted to be the
that's
to
true.
cast with you.
Yeah.
So it is a time investment, but I think it's time well spent. I get to see what's coming as far as the strategies that people are playing, and I also have to catch some high level AOE to do some good casting. Hopefully, the chat enjoyed the set and the cast, and thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I do have lots of questions to ask you about the main event, but I
Okay.
think we'll have to do an interview because this is maybe not the time. But yeah, thanks, bro. Everyone, if
No
you see
worries.
Hera, make sure you thank him for joining, and appreciate everything again. Good luck, of course.
Yeah, much love, T90. Much love, chat. Take it easy. See you guys in the main events. Peace.